guys would stop the quibbling.
Morning, everybody.
Can I ask you a question, Tobin?
You okay, man? You don't sound so good.
I'm good. I was laughing at you.
Yeah.
Because when the intro music started, you were singing along. And then when Marcos got to the fast part, you went. And I was reading. Wait, Marcos. I was reading his lips. I'm like, oh, Tobin. Go, Tobin. Anyway.
Oh, man. What a day, everybody. Welcome on in. Another week ahead of us here in South Florida. We are all basking in what was the championship celebration yesterday.
Can I tell you? Hey,
the Florida Panthers Parade.
By the way, that's not to the Panthers.
Yep.
That's to all y'all crazy-ass fans.
Ooh.
Look, and from what I understand, wasn't no kerfuffles, wasn't no people trying to get hammered and act crazy. It was, I don't know how many people they said, but I was watching it on TV, and I'm like, look at the boats and the people. It was amazing. So kudos to all you fans who went out there to celebrate the Panthers, and that's all you did was have a party and celebrate. Hell of a job, because you know how hard it is to get a whole bunch of people together, mix a little liquor, and not have something go down.
It was a great time. It was just jubilation all over the place. And I didn't really get to the full grasp because we were at the beginning of the parade route, which was pretty cool because you got to see everybody start to wind up. But I saw some of the videos that came out from like the beach by the stage all the way back to Elbow Room. And it was crazy. Was there like a Coast Guard helicopter view at one point?
Yeah.
It was bananas to see how many people were there. But no, we had a great view. Shout out to LuLu's Bait Shack and shout out to Gulfstream Park for sponsoring our parade coverage yesterday. But it was festive, Marcos. You were boots on the ground. You were there. Yeah. You were a man with the people. He had some eloquent fans who were just giving soliloquies on how much it means to be there for the Cats.
I know a lot of people enjoyed the TV broadcast, which you should have, because it was a spectacle. It was a sight to see for sure.
Yeah.
But luckily for you guys, we got a top 5 double dip Frog Boy moments from yesterday's parade.
What?
That's right.
When is that going to be ready?
Top 5 moments that we're celebrating the Panthers, but also had to do with Frog Boy.
Wow.
There you go. That will be ready by the 12 o'clock hour.
Okay. We'll get to that in the 12 o'clock hour today. And man, it was just fun.
Really cool to watch. Really happy for everybody involved. Really, you really got a firsthand view of the affection that the players have for one another, that the organization has for the players and the players have for the organization and the owner. And it was really cool. Now, I know a lot of that has to do with winning, right? But the one thing that I'll continue to say about this organization and about this team, win or lose, they have been consistent with how they approach it, how they talk about it, how they talk about their team, their organization, win or lose. So it's fun to watch. I think South Florida has, a team that just by far have put it together, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
It doesn't feel like it. I mean, you never want to take it for granted, but they just seem so well put together, and they're all just about the right stuff. And Bill Zito, you go into this with some question marks in free agency, but you just have a feeling like whatever path he's going to go down, that's the decision you have to trust.
Exactly. You know what else is funny?
What was that?
The first thing Brad Marchand said, I'm glad that I don't have to fight Sam Bennett anymore.
Totally fair. It's the right way to think about things. It's the right way to think about things.
I'm like, Wait a minute, Marshall. I'm more than sure there's a bunch of guys on the Panthers that are done dealing with you too. We're glad you're their teammate.
Everybody's so happy to be together. It's a delightful thing. Man, it was hot out though yesterday. Oh my god!
It looked. Let me
you had to stay hydrated, champ. If you were out there yesterday, because that walk that I had back to my car. Whew.
So wait, did you have the LuLu special?
I did not have a fishbowl.
Oh, come on.
Frog Boy did. Well, I had to have some semblance of professionalism.
No, that wasn't the deal.
Look, first of all, Marcos, how many beers did I have?
Quite a bit.
Oh, you had
every
beers.
time I would have. No, he had multiple.
I had
Okay,
many,
all right. Wait. I take it back.
Yeah,
I was under the impression that you were going there for the sole purposes of making that fishbowl happen. But you had alternative libations.
Right. Yeah. No,
Okay.
I have many libations. And I just kept looking at my guy. I don't even know what his name was. It Steve? Seems like it would be Steve.
Oh, which one?
The guy who was our server.
Oh, Sammy? I don't even know.
Hey, I just
excellent guy.
we had a connection like Wade and LeBron. We just had a look, and he goes,
he was giving you the no look beers.
yeah. No. Frog Boy though did partake in a fishbowl, and you want to know something, Leroy? It was the right decision for me not to have a fishbowl because this guy got halfway through that fishbowl, and he was looking like a sloppy frog. I'm like, can you do your job?
What do you mean I gotta do my job? You're sweating out everything, and then that fishbowl is just replenishing you.
Dude, I didn't realize you could smile that wide. You were like the Grinch ready for shenanigans.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you dehydrated, the last thing you should be rehydrated with is a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Did you have some water in there? Did you do some electrolytes?
No, some champagne though.
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
brought champagne.
Yeah.
Did you, by the way, as an aside, did you guys see? Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll be getting to the weirdness that was that Game 7, a real damper on it. But did you guys see how they didn't know how to open champagne?
Yeah,
that was strange.
I did see that.
Nobody's practiced it. Nobody's been like, they're like.
Well, can I just say this in the locker room? Normally, they just give them open bottles.
You don't get why? For liabilities?
No, just because they're when you go in the locker room.
I thought half the fun is popping the cork.
I mean, I guess.
But man, yeah, it was probably a good decision to broadcast and not that I didn't have a good buzz going, but that fishbowl looked like it took you out. It had some haymakers, and you did, and it hit you fast.
What did you have, Marcos? What did you have in?
Well, I ordered something that was called a tropical wave, but because it was so slammed, I felt like I got here. I'm just gonna put some stuff in a bowl and you drink it, and it was delicious, and it was good. So it it tasted like a rum punch almost.
It looked like a rum punch.
Yeah. There was a skewer in there, but no fruit. I don't know if I ate it.
You think somebody ate your fruit and then put the stick back?
Maybe I did. I don't even know what happened.
You saw one guy who was in a Panthers Power Rangers helmet. I'm like, you need to go interview that guy. But he was on the other side of the street. It was hard to get there. But no, man, it was. I thought our coverage was strong. Shout out to Oscar for engineering a great broadcast because he got Marco set up with the wireless mic, so he was boots on the ground right down there. It was a party, man.
Look, I was able to get, because I knew we would talk about this guy. I was able to get a nice shot of our man here with the Panther. Ugh.
That the Power Ranger Panther?
Yeah, the Power Ranger Panther guy.
Well, he didn't have it on though. He took it off. I got a video of him dancing.
Yeah, it was
well, look,
out there.
You either come in costume or don't come in costume. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, listen, if Marcos almost passed out from a LuLu special, what do you think is happening out there in them streets?
Oh man, I saw there were a lot of people that were not. There was a lot when I was making that walk back. Once we were done with the broadcast and they made it to the stage and we threw it to the stage. When I was seeing on the way back, because I walked from LuLu's all the way to Elbow Room, which is where the bridge was, because I parked at my aunt's house, and I was like, wow, everybody here is hammered.
Now, question, I was curious because they did the stage and then the parade. Normally they do the parade to the stage?
I don't think you're right about that. No, they paraded to the stage.
No, they did parade to the stage.
Yes.
Okay.
You're confused. Were you also a few drinky poos in watching the Panthers in golf yesterday?
Well, no, I wasn't. I watched it on TV, and let me show. I'm gonna tell you how I watch TV. So, I was watching the golf, right, and I watched.
Who had squeaky cheeks?
Our guy, Tommy Fleetwood.
Oh, no.
He had a 3-shot lead when it started. But with his squeaky cheeks, we got to witness something that we haven't seen since Arnold Palmer. And that was a current Ryder Cup captain winning on tour.
Oh, that's cool.
Keegan Bradley won. So, so I'm watching, the golf, and then I go to the parade, and here's where it was unbelievable. I watched it almost the whole time and only took breaks on commercials and went to golf. So it became my number one station, and it was awesome. I mean, just to see all those people and everybody having a good time, and then the team and everybody talking and saying how much, like, it was awesome. Like, there's nothing like it. I've never got to experience it, and every time I see how much fun people have and the city have, I just
like the idea of you thinking that they got on the stage, they celebrated, and then they went on their floats. Everybody to the float.
I never saw any pictures of them on the floats beforehand.
All right. Yeah, no, we were we got to see the whole. That was the great part. Like, from the better part about this year from last year is that Bose, we were a little bit in the back, and it was the end of the parade. A lot of guys that left their floats because they were partying with the people. Mind you, it was raining also. Not the safest place probably to be on the top of a double-decker bus in a lightning storm. So this one, like, everybody was we got to see everybody kind of roll by. He had the cup, at least when we were sitting. You saw he was with the cup?
Yeah.
And then Bob's bus had a cutout cup, like just a giant fat head cutout Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Everyone kind of had props. Like Marchand had the crown. Tkachuk had a belt, and he beat up a unicorn. That was great.
Was that for McDavid?
I think that's McDavid.
That's McDavid. Yeah. McDavid the unicorn. He beat up a unicorn.
Of course. And you know what? The thing is that you can't be this good and also be trolls, right? They're all trolls.
Edmonton has remained furious with the Panthers for being classless. They're trying to get at the Panthers. Look how small your parade is. Like, what was your parade in the 80s? What do you have to compare it to, dude?
Right.
But it was a great time. Trevor from the 203. Trevor did a great job running the broadcast from home base yesterday. I'm sure his finger got tired from the dump button.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. It went 0 dark 30 like 5 times during the TV telecast.
We got a text from Glenn, and I was literally like halfway down A1A when he goes, "Too many F-bombs. We need to go back to you." I'm like, damage is done, my friend. I don't know what to tell you. We're not there anymore. And Dan Day was back at home base with him, but he's like texting us. He goes, "I need you guys to get back on there. The F-bombs are flying too much." I'm like, what did you think was going to happen with the hockey?
It's pretty amazing. Like, it's like with me and you when we interview boxers or fighters. I know what's coming, right? What did you think? Did you remember last year when some player yelled F Brooks Koepka just out of nowhere?
Well, he did it again.
Right.
He did it again just to start. Like Brooks Koepka, if you thought your sentence was over, it's not.
Oh, no. And you can't be this good, this much of a troll, and this petty. All rolled up into the Panthers. All of them got a little bit of it.
It was crazy. By the way, shout out to the guy and Solana. because I had my GoPro there yesterday. This was crazy.
I gotta see this, bro.
I'm trying to get the footage. I want to cut it up right so we have it. But like my GoPro falls off off of our little workstation there. I don't know if I got a little push. I'm not blaming anybody, but it fell off. It goes right down there. It was a GoPro though. It's very durable. Falls on the sidewalk. Buddy sees it. He looks up. We're like, hey, can you toss that up here? Dude with a real piss whistle throws the GoPro all the way up to the second deck of LuLu's, and Solana with the Odell hands is able to haul it in. And this all happened in the span of like 15 seconds. Very impressive.
It was
Very impressive. Most impressive athletic feat I've seen.
Yeah.
And this what makes celebrations like this so special, because everybody's there to celebrate the Panthers, the radio station or whatever. But the interactions with the people and fellow fans and stuff like that, and the stories that you will tell, for the rest of your life for these last 2 years is amazing.
D-Sizzle says Sam Bennett's F-bombs about calling people the Panthers dirty. Chef's kiss.
Yes.
Really good, man. Really
I
good.
like how everybody on the Panthers, their whole thing was, we're going to quote Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Because two of them did. I'm going to apologize to absolutely effing nobody. It was Tkachuk and Bennett. And Brad Marchand come and goes, damn, they stole my line.
Yeah.
You did too. Yeah.
I think that should probably be engraved on the ring then. It's just like Florida Panthers. We'd like to apologize. No one.
You know what else I realized from watching that? Marchand and Bob are tiny.
Well, Marchand is tiny and short. Bob is just skinny.
I'm like, holy smokes. This is the guy that we wove his way through the Edmonton defense at will.
Yep.
Because if it wasn't Sam Bennett, it was going to be Marchand, right?
You've been next to Bob many times. Why are you shocked by this?
I know. He's just like, wow.
Take a break. Lots to get into from this celebration. Those headlines are brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Doral Hyundai, choose from over 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory at the Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. And yes, we will get, of course, to the Miami Heat being big whiffers and also trying to ruin Panthers Parade Day. We will get into that too, of course. You guys will get my feelings on that. But Panthers yesterday was awesome. They deserve celebration. We're back after this.
Time after time.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. Back here with you on a Monday. Florida Panthers had their victory parade yesterday down on Fort Lauderdale Beach. It was a show, ladies and gentlemen. It was an absolute show. Absolutely a great time. Let's hear from some of the cats at the podium today.
How many beeps?
We'll see. We'll see. Let's first hear from the captain, who wanted to give love. He wanted to do his speech that he did last year, where he gets everybody going with the Bobby chants.
Let me start with the way I ended last year. Let's do it again. Bobby. 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 Thank you.
Nailed it. Why does he do it like that?
I have no idea, but I keep thinking that maybe he should have his ears checked.
It does sound like the the Freddie Mercury at the World Aid concert. Oh, yeah, but it's just like a very
no, it doesn't.
It's a very poorly.
It's a very hammered Finnish version of that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only thing that I can possibly think he's trying to do.
Paul Maurice, he was wearing a T-shirt that had Penny and Poppy on it. Each had a crown on their head. But he, of course, in his Paul Maurice way, was philosophical and described this as the summer of love.
And I didn't check with the Viola family, and I should have, and I didn't check with the players. But a proclamation from the Florida Panthers today. In southeast Florida, 2025 is the summer of love. So here we know this. In the history of man, there is no chance there have ever been this many cat lovers in one spot.
This guy really loves his cats.
He loves his cats, man. He loves his cats. This was Paul Maurice on his cat shirt.
So those of you fine people that braved the weather last year, you saw a cat in the front and a cat on the back. I got 2 cats on the front. That's Bobby, that's Penny, and there's only one way a grown man at 58 gets on a stage in front of 500,000 people, is if your daughter made me. My daughter made us. As you can understand.
Wow.
The parade shirt. She took great honor.
She should take great honor in that.
Yeah. Epic.
Well, Tobin, you'll get to this point to where your daughter will buy you something,
yeah,
and make you wear it, right?
Yep.
Dude, I just floated around with a blue beard for 2 weeks.
Well, that was not your daughter. I thought that was your wife.
It was tag team.
Well, yeah,
tandem, but yeah,
looking good, by the way.
Then we get to the profanity. Matthew
no.
Tkachuk. This was him channeling his inner Conor McGregor.
I didn't have anything prepared today like the rest of everybody, but I was talking to Gustav Forsling in the back, and we thought about one of my favorite lines ever, and it was, I would like to apologize to absolutely nobody because I double champed this ever the wants.
All right.
You knew, look, that started off way too mellow for Tkachuk. You knew some fire was coming. Man, they say he was hurt really good. He might have to have surgery.
Yep. Tore it off the bone.
Man, let me tell you. I don't know how groins work in skates, but there's no way you could do that on a football field.
How old was Tkachuk when the Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz 2 fight? What was he, like 15?
Mm-hmm.
They must have thought, like, this is the cool. I can't wait to drop that. He's 27. So it was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And so he was at the end of high school when that happened.
Yep.
Sam Bennett, he also channeled the notorious one. Here was Sam Bennett.
This is truly incredible. I mean, a lot of people they don't like the way we play. They don't like, they call us dirty. They call us nasty. They call us bullies. So no, I would like to take this time to apologize to absolutely no one. We're the double champs. We do what we want. Let's go!
Wow,
That was good delivery.
Hey,
he nailed that one.
he
He goes,
landed it.
No. This is how you do it. This is how you do it.
But it's funny that when you're physical in any sport and the other team can't match your physicality, they try to brush it off as you being dirty. Right. And it's a shame because guess what? Unlike all these other teams, 2 years ago, the Panthers realized that they had to get more physical to compete with the Tampas, the Carolinas, and all these other teams. So what they did was they brought in players to accomplish that. Now, don't all of a sudden get upset that the blueprint was out there to how to win, and the Panthers did it the best. I don't want to hear it.
We'll take a break. When we come back, we will get into what happened yesterday during the parade. All too appropriate. The lineup. Kevin Durant traded to the Houston Rockets. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Welcome on back. Streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. Having some fun here on a Monday, and now the fun ends because Kevin Durant once again slips right out of the fingers of Pat Riley as he steps up. He goes, all right, we're in the trade negotiations for Kevin Durant. How about I offer a bag of donuts and see if that actually gets us a call back? It did not. The reported offer that the Miami Heat gave stunk, as was reported last week by that Gambo, who's taking a very weird victory lap over the Miami Heat. It's a very strange thing. Kevin Durant ends up going to the Houston Rockets for Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, the number 10 overall pick, and 5 second-round picks. The Miami Heat, according to reports from Barry Jackson and Anthony Chang, they say, according to a source of direct knowledge, the Heat not only declined to offer center Kel'el Ware, but also did not offer forward Nikola Jovic in the final discussions. I'll get to you in a second, Leroy. The teams before the Suns shipped Durant to Houston. Also, the source said the Miami Heat were never willing to offer more than one first-round pick. Reportedly, what Anthony and Barry Jackson say the Heat offered was Andrew Wiggins, Terry Rozier, pick number 20 in Wednesday's draft, and 2 bench players, which are believed to be Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Haywood Highsmith. Which, got to be honest with you, if you did offer me that for Kevin Durant, I think I'm taking the phone with me while I take a poop in the bathroom because that offer stinks. So KD ends up in Houston. No Kevin Durant once again on the Miami Heat. And everybody's here left wondering, Leroy, where the hell do the Heat go from here?
I'm a little torn by this because the Heat had to know that was a BS offer. Okay, let's be clear.
Had to. That offer stinks.
And here's what I think gets lost in all of this. When teams are offering up these players, okay, so we've had a few situations here. And you have 3 or 4 teams that are vying for that player's services. I don't understand why the Miami Heat always offer like you're the only team negotiating. And that's what that sounded like. Like you were going to go back and forth.
Well,
and the way it works now is you have preliminary discussions.
Yep.
You have 3 or 4 teams that come to the table with something. And now these teams only negotiate with the team that had the original best first offer.
For me, it's just such a lack of, if you're really serious about Kevin Durant, which clearly they weren't,
Right.
but if you know that the team you're competing with is the Rockets, and at bare minimum, if we're just going, okay, you don't want to go draft for draft, the baseline offer is top 10 pick, top 20 pick. Like, you got to make up some ground somewhere, and it can't be for 4 guys you don't want. Because other than Haywood Highsmith, literally probably not a guy on there that he really want back next year. Maybe Wiggins, maybe, but I'm sure they're not at the highest level of Andrew Wiggins that they were when they traded for him from Golden State.
Right.
So you're essentially saying, like, take a guy we just got as the salary filler for Jimmy Butler, a dude who's an absolute zero on our team in Terry Rozier, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. reportedly, who his value's never been lower, and pick 20. That's it. So, like, you're essentially flipping the Jimmy Butler package, and also take Terry Rozier and Jaime Jaquez Jr., who we only play against the Wizards. Like, I'm just, and yes, there is a part of me that's torn too, Leroy, because I love Kel'el Ware and I love Nikola Jovic. I really do. I think, that
right.
those guys playing together was probably some of the more fun basketball in a really, really unfun season. However, you got to give to get at some point. And I just thought from my standpoint, like, the swing would have been Kel'el. Like, that would have gotten you Kevin Durant. I understand your hesitancy there. But also Nico, who I think is also going to be a really good player. But where do you think the make good is? You're not going to get Kevin Durant for all the stuff you hate.
So I'm going to speak as if I am Andy Ellisberg, Pat Riley, and all the powers that be in the Miami Heat organization. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to think out loud. If I would have made that trade, right? How close are we? And it's only a 2-year deal, right? That Kevin Durant, you can expect 2 years, maybe.
2 good years, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then the cupboards are bare. So what I'm thinking as a Miami Heat front office person is that you better guarantee me immediate results from this trade if I'm going to include some of my young players.
Fine, but
otherwise, in 2 years, you're going to really be a dumpster fire because now you have no young talent and no draft picks. So think of it from that standpoint. Forget, I get the offer was weak and they probably could have offered one or the other. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is if you make a trade like that, right? Like Houston didn't care. They have a lot of young talent. They got draft picks. They got a whole bunch of stuff and they're close. So KD they can justify sacrificing that future because they are that close. The Heat can't do that. So if you're sacrificing your youth to bring in KD, how much of a difference besides a new face? Tell me what is it gonna tell me what that does to the Miami Heat if I say I'm getting rid of Kel'el or Jovic, mm-hmm. right? And maybe Wiggins. So take that route.
Okay.
And I want you to answer this question for me. How much better are the Miami Heat? They look different. You got an all-time great player on your team. Right. How much better are they?
I think they're tremendously better. I mean, like, you're talking about a team that was the worst fourth quarter team in the league last year, and you're adding an all-time scorer who can actually take the burden and actually makes things easier on your other two best players. I know everybody wants to put the age there, but it's literally a talent at offense they haven't had since the likes of LeBron James, even with his age being what his age is. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice as far as like, hey, they don't pay aging stars. They don't like to do that of risking. They didn't want to do it with Dwayne Wade. They didn't want to do it with Jimmy Butler. Didn't want to do it with Shaq. Didn't want to do it with Zoe. They get a line of demarcation on age, and they do not typically believe in paying those guys. So but if you're talking about one of the weaknesses of the Miami Heat, Kevin Durant being a great elixir to a lot of that, this was right there for you. And to offer that, it just,
I'm just saying.
And by the way, Kevin Durant also did his job here in that probably the team that had the offer that the Suns wanted the most was probably Minnesota. And he also deflected off of that. And the Heat, once again, just didn't want to up the ante. And I think the thing that is becoming a pattern for Heat fans that has pissed them off is you always seem like you want to play this conservative off-season offense when it comes to these trade talks. You never want to risk it. You never want to push your chips to the table. You didn't want to get Jimmy Butler help. You didn't want to go all in on Dame. You wanted to do it on your terms. You didn't want to go in all in on Donovan Mitchell. You didn't want to give up Tyler Herro because you said, oh, Tyler Herro is going to be some semblance of Spida. So you didn't want to go all the way in on that. And it's just like, how many times, and this may be the worst version of that Heat team, so maybe this wasn't the time to do it, but how many times are you and the front office going to go into these negotiations playing it all the way safe, not thinking you have to risk anything, especially when you look about who you're competing with? You're like, all right, let's just do math here. If just the best asset we're getting in this is a pick that's 10 spots higher than us and Jalen Green, who's probably a more attractive piece at 23 years old, even though he makes a good amount of money than any other player we're offering in this draft or in this deal, why do you think you're going to win that? And why don't you think you have to improve that? I just always feel like they're caught with their pants down being like, oh, well, Terry Rozier is going to kind of be like what Damian Lillard was. It's like, what? Huh? Okay, so now what are you going to do? You're going to come to us 2 weeks from now, and you're going to deal Wiggins for DeMar DeRozan and being like, hey, we got under the luxury tax because he makes $10 million less. And guys, we got you DeMar DeRozan. We have your go-to score. It's like, yeah, but he's not Kevin Durant. And this is what you guys always do. It's like they always go trade talks on the cheapskis and then come with some semblance of a player as the player the Miami Heat have always wanted. And I'm sorry, but you want to talk about no hope and what would the Miami Heat be with Kevin Durant? I don't know, but I just saw another star go down in the East with a blown Achilles. Kind of feels like it's as open as it's ever been to me. And by the way, it shows two things. One, you don't really believe in Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, because if you don't believe adding to those guys an all-time scorer makes you contender, then what do you believe those guys to be? What do you believe in those guys to be? And if you're telling me you believe in your young guys, well, then tell your goddamn coach to act like it.
Play him.
Tell him to believe in his young guys and play him like he believes in those young guys. Because you guys are stuck here in this seesaw of mediocrity, and you don't act like you have any path. Because I know we're going to go into this year. Are you going to start Nikola Jovic? Are you going to play him like you wouldn't touch him in a Kevin Durant deal? Or you can be like, I don't know what his role is. Maybe the sixth man. Are you going to actually give Kel'el Ware the tools to succeed? Will you give him a playmaking guard who can get him the damn basketball? Or are you just going to be like, nah, this is a cool asset to have. So, fine. You don't want to go all in Kevin Durant, and you want to say, don't know what we would have been with him? Okay, I'll hear those arguments. But your path better not be, we shaved off $10 million, got you DeMar DeRozan because Wiggins never wanted to be here, and you're going to sit here. Or, dude, if you don't really believe in Bam and Tyler, and you don't think that adding Kevin Durant to those two guys can make you any semblance of good in the East, which sucks. If you don't believe that, then you better take a long look in the mirror at those two guys and start wondering, what can we get for them? Be a real organization that I know you to once be, and pick a direction, because this is rudderless. And you're pissing your fans off because every single time it feels like you allow your team to be thrown into these negotiations just simply as a leverage play. That's how it always ends up. Every single time, whether it be for Spida, whether it be for Harden, whether it be for Damian Lillard, whether it be for Kevin Durant, you're being used. What are you going to do about this? You have an East as open as it's ever been. You have a $50 million center, and you have a $50 million guard, or wants to be a $50 million guard. Do you believe in those guys, or do you not? Because if you're going to give this bull bleep offer for Kevin Durant, to me it tells you, well, they're not a Kevin Durant away from cranking it up and making an actual East run. Okay, then what are they? Because they didn't have Jimmy Butler for half a season. I understand it was a lot to deal with, but they flagrantly failed in being face of the franchise, guys, without him. Without those JB training wheels around, they got blown out in the midst of a series like we have never seen. So, I just want to know, Pat, Andy, Mickey, Nick Spo-Zo. What the hell are you doing? What's the plan?
That was beautiful.
I couldn't say that any better. I 100% agree with you. Like, and this is why last year, if you had played all of your young players, if for any other reason other than having more things to trade, because now here's what you have. You have two guys you like, but nobody else has seen play basketball on a consistent basis. Khalil a little more at the end of the year. But so you have those two guys. You have Bam and Tyler. Now, I can understand why you want to keep Tyler, even though Tyler might be better off the ball. But you've put him at point guard. There's just a lot of things that aren't very clear as to the direction of the team. It's hard for me to get this in my brain. This is the hardest part for me. When you say these two guys are untouchable, but you haven't touched them either. It's a weird dynamic. And I thought I was on an island when I said I wouldn't trade Khalil or Jovic, but I didn't think the Heat would think that because you're not playing them like they're important to you.
Schmieden says it well, where he says the Heat have to decide on extending Nico. They could actually extend him this year, but he's going to be going into the final year of his contract. What do you know what he's worth?
Right.
What do you know? What's his value to you guys?
Right.
What is it? I love the guy. I love him as a player. I love watching Nikola Jovic play basketball. But like, what do you guys see? Like, it's just, is there anything here? Any semblance of a team that's going to actually do anything? Do you believe in your? Because it doesn't even feel like you guys believe in yourselves. That's the thing.
Their actions don't fully explain this past weekend, right? How you have treated Khalil and Jovic don't quite coincide or look like the comments you've made about them, right? Like how you played them certainly doesn't seem like they're untouchable.
We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. This was much less fun than this parade celebration.
I know.
It's time for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Vailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Can go to hell. Tua Tonga Vailoa. Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of
Hour 2 of the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Let's get to headlines brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Doral Hyundai, choose for over 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory at Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. And remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. The Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA championship. They win Game 7, 103-91. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander named your finals MVP. But, of course, impossible not to feel a little bit empty as Tyrese Haliburton lost early in this game with a non-contact injury, which his father reported to Lisa Stalters was a torn Achilles.
You can see it. You can actually, if you watched it, I knew it right away. I text you guys right away.
Man, that calf strain, you've said this, like, what a scary injury that is. And, like, it feels like this is eating up basketball players more than ever.
But here's where I have a problem with this. There's a difference in a calf strain and a calf strain that you can't play from. That means it's more serious.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the things. So remember, KD sat out for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
And then came back and tore his Achilles. Okay? He had been fighting this for a while. So at what point, with all the information that we have about this injury, at what point, and I get it, I had this argument this morning. I understand it's Game 7. Okay? Here's where all this differs in that sport. Is that you have this injury now. Now you're paying a $50 million guy and he ain't playing next year.
Right.
And so it becomes a different conversation about having this when all the money is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And I expect Tyrese Haliburton to always say, I'm going to go out and try to play. I'm going to go out and give everything that I can this Game 7. But the medical staff has to know more. The medical staff has to present that information to all the parties that be, is that we've had this injury a lot in the NBA, and it all starts with this. How are we going to handle this now? They never do it.
It has to be, because it's like, you know, we even talked about this, like, when the injury first came out. I remember we discussed, like, man, that's a tricky one, because I'm sure there's going to be an element of he wants to push through. It's a no-win situation.
And that's why I say your organization and your training staff and your doctors have to protect you from you. Because if you say we are sitting Tyrese Haliburton because we don't want to risk the possibility of losing him for a year plus, right? Versus Tyrese Haliburton saying, I'm going to sit this out. It has a whole different, conversation. It's a whole different conversation. Now, I bring this up over and over again. And this is why this situation becomes tricky with fans and with organizations. And I go to the Jay Cutler injury. When he was on the sideline, riding a bike, trying to stay loose, and everybody was on him saying, you give me everything you got. You give me. And because he wasn't rolling around on the ground, they thought he was being a coward. Only to find out he had a torn ACL. And nobody goes back and nobody ever goes back and says, you know what, Jay Cutler, my bad. You know what, Tyrese, my bad. But those players have to live with that. I don't know how to approach it. I'm torn. You hear me have this conversation over and over again as a person who's experienced it. And I'll tell you the difference between basketball and football. I sucked it up and played a year with a torn rotator cuff. And I had surgery the day after the season was over with. And you know what that got me?
Cut.
You can come back if you play for the minimum.
Jeez.
Right. So to all these people that say what he should or should not have done, kiss my ass. Okay? Because this is a situation where you have a person and they're not weighing all of the different options. They're only seeing, well, if he can give us this or if he can give us that. And as a medical staff, I'm disgusted that they don't see throughout the NBA how these injuries have presented themselves and take precautionary measures.
It's pretty crazy, though, that we've had 3 of them in one playoffs. That's
right.
Pretty wild. 3. I mean, we know Dame's a little older and he had the blood clot in the calf.
Okay,
and I think it went to the other calf. And I think it was the other calf that he ended up tearing.
Right.
But still,
there's a difference in that, though, Tobin. I'm not talking about one that comes all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right? That was all of a sudden injury.
That's still pretty crazy, though. 3 stars going down with Achilles. Like Achilles used to be pretty rare.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Pretty rare. And to have 2 25-year-olds go down with it.
Right.
Man.
And when you think about, it was non-contact with Tatum also.
Yeah.
Okay. But Tatum wasn't hurt beforehand. Tatum wasn't nursing a calf beforehand. And that's the thing that even if you see Dame and Tatum and it happened to those guys, right? And then you're presented with this calf strain that your player is barely being able to play. Who pulls the trigger and says no? I get it's a game 7. I get it. But guess what?
Well,
where's Indiana going to be next year without him?
I don't know.
Now, I ask you then, ask me in a year if they're in the play-in or they don't make the playoffs because they don't have their star player. Was it worth it?
Josh Hart points out, all from the East and all wear number 0. That is a pretty weird one.
Wow.
Pretty weird one. Strange detail. But it's no, man, that's a heartbreak. And like, I don't want to look, Oklahoma City was awesome all year. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, come on, dude. Like that to have him go down like that, I don't know how the fact that they were even, leading at half, like, is crazy to me. But like, that's such a gut punch.
Yeah.
For what was just an incredible postseason run for Tyrese Haliburton.
Pretty much. And he's one of those guys that you didn't necessarily need to score, but he made that much of an impact. That was the coolest thing about what he was doing, where people would turn out the stat line and say, oh, he only had this many points or this many. But when you watch him play, right, he has an impact without scoring because he does so much for that team. So I'm interested to see, and here's the thing. If you ask anybody, they'll lie, right? If you ask anybody, they'll lie. Yeah, it was worth it. No, it wasn't. He's 25 years old. It was not worth it.
Yeah, because
if you had an injury that you knew could lead to that.
Yeah, because we still don't really know. Like, this is going to be a fascinating case. Like, yeah, people go to KD, and KD did come back pretty well from the Achilles. He did take a lot of time, though. Remember, he plays
a different game, though. He's a guy that can get a shot from anywhere.
He's
7 foot.
But like John Wall was never the same for the Achilles. He, I think, retore it again.
Right.
Remember when we talked to Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo had one of those unsuccessful surgeries. It wasn't Achilles, it was quad, but he's so
there's everybody will say, oh, he'll bounce back. There's no guarantee.
Definitely not. Not.
It's I don't understand how you can let it get to that point. Now, I would ask you, at any point in time, did he have an MRI before he tore?
Yeah, I thought he did get an MRI, didn't he?
Right.
When they first got the injury, I think that there was talk that he got an MRI. I don't know what the results of it were, but
Right.
I remember that being a report that like once he first got hurt in game 5, when they were talking about 6, remember, like they all thought that he okey doked that, oh, he's not that hurt. But man, I mean, it's just brutal. I can't believe another one went down.
And you don't know what they did to get him ready to play.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it's so much that goes into it that you need a higher power in the organization to kind of be aware of the whole situation and not just.
And I hate to bring up this one because he's here. Klay Thompson never really been the same either because he had the Achilles, then the ACL.
Right.
And don't forget what he did to that lady at the parade.
Come on, man.
Trampled her.
What do you mean he didn't trample anybody?
That's what it looked like.
So I feel bad for him, especially when this would have been the greatest story in sports. To be rated the most overrated player in the NBA and then win a championship. Oh, the story would write itself. Now, and that's man, listen, that recovery is brutal because it's all about range and motion. And if you're not at a certain level of range and motion, same thing with your knee, they force it because you got to tear the scar tissue. So it's a long road. It's a long road. And for people say, and I love, here's the argument that I got this morning when I was getting PT.
Mm-hmm.
It's game 7. You got to go. Really? That's all you got for me? Because I got a 25-year-old with a torn Achilles.
Right.
And maybe would have had 10 more years for that organization. And now you got questions.
And his game is speed, elusiveness through the lane,
right.
jerky kind of like
awkwardness that makes him special, right? The awkwardness and how he does things. I just it bothers me that you have so many people that you look towards for advice, and I would say they all failed him. Even if he said, I want to go. Even if I said, this is one of those situations where sometimes the organization and the training staff have to be honest and have to protect the player from himself.
Well, what do you have here? What are you trying to bother me with?
Just he just brutally attacked her. I mean,
did not brutally attack her.
Wait. Time out.
Why was she there?
Time out. More importantly, why does he have video proof of all situations involving Klay? Do you have it saved in a folder?
Look, he just runs after her. He pretends to trip.
He's falling too. Pretends to trip.
No, the lower man wins. Everyone knows.
Take a break. We're back after this.
The Panthers Parade and celebrate.
Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Taking your chats, your comments, your texts. You guys can call 305-567-0560 if you want to react to the Miami Heat. Tale as old as time in the summer. It's become Heat miss out on a whale. I want to, I don't know, donate the harpoons to somebody else. They're getting rusty.
I think you said it best last hour. If you guys didn't have an opportunity to listen to that and you're a Heat fan, the last segment in the first hour was a masterclass by Tobin over here to really explain what the Heat fan is going through. And the question that you posed at the end was, what now? What's the plan?
I don't know. I genuinely, like Marcos, excuse me, got a frog in my throat. No offense. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know where it's going to end up. I feel like it ends up with them flipping Wiggins and Jaquez to Sacramento for DeMar DeRozan, and maybe they get somebody like Devin Carter. I know that's been thrown around in the Sacramento circles. That sounds like what's up their alley, like something like that. Which, all right, like there's still guys on this team that I like to watch. I don't understand why how many summers are they going to go in a row allowing outside of last summer, because last summer was all basically about Jimmy Butler. Even that had a DeMar DeRozan flirtation, which by the way, they didn't even land him then. Every summer just seems to do the same thing. So I don't know. You know what? It's probably best off that there's not that many whales out there, because they probably just end up empty there as well. I don't know, because yeah, it would have stung to lose Jovic or even Ware, but you do have to go into these things with some semblance of what you're going to do. And for people who say like, hey, Kevin Durant's washed, Kevin Durant's too old.
He's not washed.
First of all, yeah, I don't think he's washed. Still think he's a very good player. And second of all right, then what does this say about your two best guys in Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo? And because even Bam sat there and he's like, he wanted to know, what's Riley's move going to be? Because he doesn't like the taste of getting bounced out of the first round the last 2 years. Does he hold responsibility in that? Of course he holds some of it. But I think he also wants to look around and be like, hey, because he sat here. I mean, how many summers in a row has Bam sat here recruiting his friends? You want to talk about wasting one of the biggest chips out there as far as relationships and recruitment. They have completely pissed away having Bam Adebayo on their team. Every damn star in this league likes him and wants to play with him. And for whatever you fans want to say about, oh, Bam's not this bad, I'll tell you one thing. Plenty of the attractiveness by any of these guys who want to be here is playing with him. Not Jimmy Butler, not Tyler Herro, playing with Bam Adebayo. Mm-hmm. We sat here all summer. Donovan Mitchell getting showered with Heat chants at the Miami Pro League. Ends up in Cleveland. You sit up here, and Damian Lillard is going on podcasts, and like, Bam's my guy. Wink. These guys, they were joined at the hip. Nope. Can't take advantage of that. Now Kevin Durant, Olympic teammate, wants to play with a lot of respect for him. You guys have seen the podcast clips. Nah, sorry, Bam. Like, when does he go to the organization? Is like, hey, man, what do we do? What are we doing here? You don't think he's thinking that too?
Yeah, but again, and I'm going to defend the Heat from this point. Everything you're saying is accurate. I'm not disputing it. I'm not arguing. No, I'm not even questioning it. But I think that sometimes the Miami Heat try to see where it's going to go. And if you have to give up too many assets for something, then you don't make that much of a move because you're not going to benefit from the rewards of it. And you're different in that you say, hey, this isn't working. You got to do something. but you also have to do it with a plan or some kind of idea of where it's going to get you. And you start giving up assets or whatever. And if you keep doing that, then you end up like the Brooklyn Nets. Then you end up like, teams that took a big swing and it didn't matter. And now you're just stuck in purgatory paying big old contracts like the Phoenix Suns.
I get you, but like,
there's a middle ground to this. And I just don't know where it is as far as the players and who would you have to give up and how the team is going to be constructed. Because I would maybe feel different, and so would you, if they had come out in the middle of the season and said, you know what? We need to see where our young guys are, and we're going to play the hell out of them and coach the hell out of them and see where we can go with them, and we're going to find out sooner rather than later. If they had made that comment and just Spo being frustrated coaching the young talent, and then we got to this point and they say, well, we got to give up one of these guys, I'd be okay with that. But the fact of the matter is if you trade any of these pieces, you have no idea what they're going to turn out to be because you haven't put them under in the games. You haven't put them under that fire to see how they respond, to see how they respond to coaching, to see how they respond to adjustments. And that sucks. So now you got another year with more questions than you do answers because you didn't try to find out any answers last year when you had every opportunity to. Your team was 37 and 40 and 45. Right? Why not? Why not find out what you have so you can go into the offseason better prepared to make moves?
Yeah, Barrett Jackson just tweeted out, he says, 2 hallmarks of the past decade have included 2 finals, but some middling and frustration. 1, the Heat having more faith in its own players than sometimes seemingly warranted, and trades must be on their terms with a line drawn on assets. And yeah, I just think that it's not so much about the young guys to me. Like, I understand not wanting to give up Nico and Kalel. I think you guys know, as people who listen, I'm watching every game.
Right.
I'm talking these guys up. I said, give the damn keys to Nikola Jovic. Okay, these are players I really, really like. But my question now is, what about your top 2 guys? And did you make a move to make their life easier? Did you make a move to see, hey, really, what does an organization that has Bam and Tyler? Because Tyler, not since a teenager, really hasn't contributed to a Heat postseason run. He hasn't. That's the facts. Not since the bubble. He hasn't. And so what does an organization with those guys at the top do? And were you going to do anything to help them out? Because Andrew Wiggins did not last year. It didn't. It flopped. Did he have some injuries? Was it a tough situation? Sure. Fine. I will give you all that. But you had a chance here to push some chips into it. Not all the chips. Some chips. And they never want to push any chips. They just want to be like, they just want to stay at the poker table and be cool at the scene with the cigar smoke around.
The days of throwing your rings on the table are over.
Yeah.
There are far too many teams who have way too many assets for teams to say, or players to say, I'm just going for the rings. Right? That doesn't happen. That's not happening anymore. You can't have that approach.
And Leroy, here's the thing that's frustrating about even that. It doesn't. But also, it kind of has, like, unless they're just getting used and leveraged by agents, KD wanted to be here. Damian Lillard wanted to be here. You gotta, at some point, you gotta show, hey, should we buy her a drink? Should we? Nah, she can go over to me. Like, when do you think? When do you think that's good enough anymore? That we're on the list. Like, it's embarrassing that Marcos and I have to chant out, we're on the list, because that's the highest of our highlights have gone lately is Shams tweets. Just being mentioned in the Shams tweets, that's the height of the offseason now. It's never that they get them, because it's like, once you're on the Shams list, we're just waiting for the inevitable shoot and drop of not making the trade happen.
And
meanwhile, while this is all happening yesterday, I'm watching the Panthers roll down A1A, Bill Zito with the stones out. because this guy is like, oh, do I have goalie of the future in Spencer Knight? Goalie of the future, Foley of the schmoocher. I'm trading him for Seth Jones. I'm trading first-round picks for Marchand.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, that guy, that's the dude with rings on the table right now.
And one of the things that is very similar between hockey and basketball is that once you get down a certain list to a certain point in the draft, you have no idea, right? Hockey, you might have one or two like top stars like Connor McDavid or whatever, but then like after that, you don't really know. And so having those picks does what? Them having the 20th pick does what? Right? And so from that standpoint, I don't understand how you get a worse pick with a worse record.
Well, it wasn't their pick. They got it was Golden State's pick. Their pick's going to their pick's OKC's pick.
Jeez. And what pick is that? 10?
15?
15?
15?
Even there. Think about it. Like, I don't understand it. I would like to, because the actions of the organization don't reflect the decisions that they are making. Because when they talk about the young talent on their team now, you wouldn't know that based on the season. You wouldn't know that they had that much confidence in Khalil and in Jovic during the season. Granted, Jovic got hurt. So it's kind of hard to have this conversation with Jovic because
but like, let's not ever act, even when he was like, let's not act like this was a warm embrace of Nikola Jovic.
Right.
You know, like let's not act like this is,
I think it's time they do this with a lot of players. They do it with Dunks, right? Put him in there, he shoots 3 shots, he misses, take him out, he don't play no more. Like, we talk about how did he say they trust their players, right? Their actions don't reflect that. Their actions reflect that you go out there and have a bad 3 minutes, you might not play no more tonight.
We'll take a break. We come back. Leroy had out his game balls and game bums.
WQAM.
This guy's a ball.
Oh, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to gather around the locker room and Leroy Hoard to hand out his game balls and game bums. But first, I'll let you guys know, AJ Greer of the two-time Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers will be at Palm Beach Autographs in Wellington this Saturday. And on Thursday, we're giving away a ticket for you to have a meet and greet and an autograph with them. So keep on listening to our show for details on how you can win. Palm Beach Autographs is located at the mall at Wellington Green in Wellington.
Wellington, new home of West Palm Improv.
I heard that. That's happening?
Yep. West Palm Improv, Copper Blues coming back. Wellington.
Wow.
Yes.
I like that.
Hey, yeah. I'll be the guy. You need me.
All right, Leroy, what do we have?
Is it hard to get, like, so say if you get stars to come down, they will definitely come to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. How hard would it be to get stars to go to, like, Wellington, unless you get them to do all three?
Oh, they're going to Wellington because money.
No, I understand that, but is that how you get them? You say, hey, one night here, one night here, one night here, or?
It definitely helps. As of right now, because the improv has been down, we've only been able to get like the biggest acts because they're doing it at the Kravis Center right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you can't have
too big,
very big,
too big.
So,
but the one thing is pretty close to the airport, so like that's an easy trek from Palm Beach International to Wellington.
Yep.
So what do we got today, Leroy, for your game balls and game bums?
So my game ball is going to be pretty much consistent all day. And that was the crowd that showed up to celebrate the Panthers was unbelievable. And I will continue to give South Florida a hand. You showed up. Didn't seem like there were any problems.
Mm-mm.
Everybody had a great time. You're talking about more people that go to football games, more people that go to basketball games where people are fighting all the time. It looked like a fun time, and I got to say, I was impressed by just the sheer crowd, the amount of fun. It was unbelievable to watch. So kudos to them. Game bum. I don't want to do it because I'm normally the guy that likes to give credit to the winner, right? And I really like him. And he started the day with a 3-shot lead. Oh, Tommy Fleetwood. Buddy.
Oh.
I mean, he has more top 10s than anybody since 1983 to not win a tournament. That's how, he's in rarefied air. But I hope he gets it done, man. I thought he was going to get it done yesterday. Unfortunately, he didn't. I could have very well went with Keegan Bradley, who did something that hasn't been done since Arnold Palmer. But the only reason why he had a chance was because of
squeaky cheeks. I'll tell you somebody who didn't have squeaky cheeks, and that was Nico Mikkola, who Anton Lundell, Mr. Las Olas, made Meeksy do some summer training, doing squats with Lord Stanley at the club.
Boy, he looks stiff. Right?
He's a polar bear.
What's up with the hat?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not like a cowboy hat. Like, what is that? Is that like he's the crocodile hunter?
Like Indiana Jones type, crocodile hunter.
Double champs.
He called it, J-Fix says a fedora. Well, he's not Latino.
Long fedora.
How the hell would he know?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like a fedora feels smaller than that.
And I thought a fedora was made with just like the straw, like
A
You
fedora,
know what I mean?
I mean, like a fedora can be smaller than that. By the way, speaking of hats and giveaways, that's always usually a popular one. How was Flanagan's Fest? How was that? Did you go to that?
Ooh, yes, I did.
Did they have a rib section?
They did. Well, they had a section like one of the restaurants that they normally would sell burgers and hot dogs was selling ribs.
Oh.
Yeah. So I will say the Marlins do a fantastic job when it comes to these promotions.
Game Ops is great there, isn't it?
Game Ops is so good, man. Everything was perfect. I got my jersey, I got my cup. The food was great. And then unfortunately, you look at the product on the field and you're like, down by 3 runs already, huh? All right.
Before you got a chance to sit down and have a rib.
I sat down. We were down.
Who started the game you went to? It was Yuri?
I believe it was Yuri, but let me confirm though. Because by the time I sat down, I mean, we're already down 1 4th inning. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this game.
That's what you said to your breath.
What am I gonna? Yeah, it was Yuri. It was Yuri, and look at that. I didn't even look at the final score, dude. It ended up being 7-0. Thank God I didn't stay. Talk about beating traffic. Yuri, unfortunately, 0-2 this year.
Yeah, it's all right.
6.17 ERA.
What do you give? We give 3 runs. That's not too bad.
Wow. It was a beautiful. It's great to see the support that comes out to those games. Sometimes you just wish, obviously, that
I saw it was their second highest crowd aside from opening day.
It was jam packed. They brought out the celebrities, all the Instagram comedians that I know were there. And
how much to make it Flanagan's Park? You think Flanagan's got the pockets for that? Just to eradicate Lone Depot. Lone Depot's kind of a goofy name.
Lone Depot's crazy.
Yeah, but Lone Depot is nationwide, and
Flanagan's Field.
How Flanagan's is a South Florida thing, right?
Yeah. Josh Simpson giving up a 4 spot. Simpson, eh?
How much are the naming rights of a stadium?
I mean, it's not cheap. I know that.
They probably play
average
10, 15 million a year.
I'll say, look, it says on average naming rights in the US are somewhere around 7.5 million. Yeah, the European soccer league is like 5.2 million, but I don't know. I think this is definitely doable. I think we can make about 8 million's worth of rib rolls and make sure that we get our name on it. I think we can get it done.
Hey, let me tell you something. There's 3 items that I have to fight because I can't get all of them at the same time. So I struggle with how they even have good burgers, but I go with either the ribs, the rib rolls, or the firecracker shrimp. Them firecracker shrimp.
Is firecracker the same as Bang Bang?
Yeah.
Samesies?
Yeah.
That's good.
Spicy shrimp, I'm assuming.
You won't do it. You won't try it. Nothing? Like, what's the closest I can get you to try seafood?
You can trick me.
Wait, where did you put your tongue on? Oh, lobster mac.
Lobster mac. Ugh.
I mean, like, first of all, Jennifer was getting ready to put some in her mouth, and you go, let me try it.
We'll taste it.
We'll take a break. You guys can get at us on the chat, YouTube and Twitch, Miami 560 WQAM. More to come here on the show, reacting to the Panthers Parade, KD, swing and miss by the Heat, and lots more to get to. Back after this. Oh man, Pink Pony took an ass kicking yesterday at the parade.
They played the hell out of it, huh?
Well, I don't know, but when we drove by Tkachuk's bus, somebody threw a pink pony up at him, and he beat its face in.
So good.
Wow. Some songs have inspiration, like Peppers. Other songs have the opposite effect. This might be the first song that I've ever heard that has the opposite effect, by the way.
It's something, man. And also, you know, we got a lot of Oilers fans who are like, you guys have been so classless. 2 years in a row, dude. I mean, you can keep up class for a year, but like 2 years in a row, I think class goes out the door.
Oh, here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. At no point in time during these last 2 years have a Panthers player or the Panthers organization ever said that Edmonton wasn't a reputable opponent and wasn't a great team. They've never not said that.
I've also always thought, like,
what do you want?
Yeah, what would you like it to always just be a tip of the cap? I love how everybody's just upset with how the Panthers go about winning. You bitch about Paul Maurice not being in the handshake line. Then you complain because he goes back in the handshake line. Then you get upset because, oh man, the Panthers, how dare they say about Conor McDavid? They say, oh, they're having some chance drunk at a nightclub. Like, you know what? I'm sorry. 2 years you kick the team's ass in a row. You get to peacock a little. You want it to stop? Go beat them. You know, like, was I pissed off when Jason Tatum came down to Miami with the Larry O'Brien trophy? You bet your ass I was. But like, what are you gonna? Whose fault is that? It's the Heat's fault. It's not Jason Tatum's fault, even though he's a big lame-o. Speed recovery.
That's great. It's just, yeah, by the way.
Can we hear a little bit more from the parade? Let's hear from Aaron Ekblad. Always a man when he has the microphone is a wild card. Here's what he had to say on Sam Bennett claiming that he was going to sign at the club.
It's funny, after 11, my agent called me and he said, make sure you don't say whatever Benny said. You got to hold on to that leverage, eh, Benny?
Smart, but Ekblad's out of here. That's already, he's holding on to that leverage, being smart.
Ekblad also thanked everybody for believing in him.
All I have to say is thank you. Thank you, fans. Thank you, my teammates. Thank you, Vinny. 11 years. You believed in me. Billy, you believed in me. Dale Talon, all the people that believed in me to come in and do what I do and do what we do best. Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, couldn't say goodbye without saying something about his number one fan.
I have a bracelet on. Can anybody guess what it says? Brooks Koepka.
He has a bracelet.
Can I get one of those?
They got FU Brooks Koepka jewelry.
It's got merch.
You Brooks Koepka.
Woo!
It sounded like year two. He felt a little bad about doing it again.
Yeah, it has a bracelet.
Not really. He got merch. Like, you don't get merch if you're embarrassed to say it. Like, what are you doing?
Brooks
And you make an announcement over probably 10 times more people than were there last year.
Brooks Koepka's like, oh, all in good fun. Oh, 2 years in a row. Forever and for always.
As old
You're never going to forget when somebody takes up a traffic cone and calls you garbage, right?
Yep.
Leroy, has Koepka won anything in 2 years? Since that moment, has he won anything significant?
Since the parking cone?
Yeah.
He's been in the hunt. He's been in the hunt, but I would say that it's a little I'm trying to think. I always get Brooks Koepka and another golfer mixed up. They look identical, but Brooks Koepka is with Liv.
Do they look identical, huh, Leroy?
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, I get. So from that standpoint, I would say, like, I mean, he's like when they he only plays in a handful of PJ Tour events that are on TV. So he's always kind of in the mix. You know what I mean? So
He hasn't won anything.
Huh?
He hasn't won anything. Ekblad 2, Koepka 0.
Should have kept his mouth shut and his props at home.
Should have kept it. I'm glad he didn't. Focus.
His last major was in 2023. So I would say no.
Look at that.
You're cursed.
Oh, okay. So here it is.
Ekblad.
I always get Gary Woodland and Brooks Koepka. They look very similar. They have the same body types. They're built pretty much like, but you're right, and he hasn't won on tour in 2 years.
I think he went to that game. Didn't he go to that game right after winning? Was it the US
Open?
Yeah. Whatever it was that he won. I think he went to that game right after that. And then the Panthers went on 3 straight runs to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. So he could pull a Tobin and go, "Thank you, South Florida."
He could say that he was the catalyst of it. He definitely could pull that, but also he's been cursed.
And by the way, 2023 ain't that long ago in golf.
Well,
it's not.
It's long when you consider it up against the Panthers.
I mean, sure.
Let me hear from the Rat, Brad Marchand. What did he have to say at the podium?
There's been a lot going on the last few days. Actually, Benny and Chucky both saw my speech, so we've kind of had a few mottos going on. First off, boys, thanks for bringing it. And second, if you can't handle it, don't win. Let's go.
Wow.
You can't handle it. Can't handle the spotlight, the attention, the fame, the power. Don't win.
That's good. Leroy, can we get a weather update from the Demesman and Dover Law Firm? YourAccidentAttorneys.com. Free consultation 24/7. Call them at 866-954-MORE.
Why, certainly. Demesman and Dover. All you Demesman and Dover. One big happy family. Woo! First thing I'm noticing out at the Windowplex.
Got the third one.
In West Davie, it is quite breezy out. Winds seem to be coming out of the east, either straight east or maybe a little out of the southeast. But the clouds are moving, trees are moving. I would say you're up about 20 miles an hour right now. It's still a heater at about 90 degrees. And I mean, always look for the straight shower. Although it might not be in the forecast, it's South Florida in the summer. So be on the lookout.
There he is, hitting the guitar. How'd you do, Frog Boy?
Excellent. Winds are right now 17 miles per hour out of the east. It is 90 degrees. A stray shower or thunderstorm is possible.
Rest of our headlines brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Doral Hyundai, choose from over 1,300 new Hyundai miles in inventory at the Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. Sorry to spring this on you, Frog Boy, but could you give me my could be something, could be nothing music? Because this could be something, could be nothing. Because if you're down about the Kevin Durant news, we got to figure out what this is.
Why would they do that? What's going on in Utah?
It could be something, could be nothing.
What is the meaning of it, Watson? What is the object of this?
Could be something, could be nothing.
Why would they do that?
All right. Now, you know how I like to get boots on the gram every once in a while.
Yep.
And something happened yesterday after the Kevin Durant news that was interesting.
We call that fallout.
Could be something. It could be nothing. I don't know, Leroy. But what do you make of this? You guys familiar with Tyler Herro?
Yep.
Yes.
Why don't I hear Leroy?
Oh, it's my fault. Doubter of history.
No, it's you, Leroy.
Yep.
He did go on, say stupid things on a podcast or a stream, whatever. Tyler Herro appears to have deactivated his Instagram account and his Finstagram account.
Whoa.
That's what the kids call their backup account, Leroy. Why would he do that?
Why would he?
Why would he? Strangely, after the Kevin Durant news gets out there, all of a sudden, Tyler Herro, no Instagram page. He was putting out montages of the workout this weekend. Some great content that Boy Wonder was putting out there. But
Why
now
would they
all of
do
a
that?
sudden, no Instagram page.
No Instagram, huh?
Why?
Why would they do that?
Why
Did
don't
he
you
not
tell
wanna-
her? Why don't you tell
I
us?
don't know. Well, I don't know. Does he feel a certain way? Does it have anything to do with the Durant trade? Does he not
Is a
want
trade imminent?
Does he not want to hear anything about the Kevin Durant trade? So he just boop, deactivates for a little while. Lets the noise cool off. Perhaps.
Yeah, why not?
Does he know something is in the works that we don't know about? Did he hear something that he didn't like? Don't know. But it is noticeable. No Boy Wonder on Instagram. Could be something.
Interesting.
Could be nothing.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Could be nothing.
But it could be something.
Could be. Could be. Now, okay. This man has had to have thick skin since entering the league because it seems like every summer he's involved in trade rumors. The one summer in which we're like, hey, we're not going to trade this guy. You think now is the straw on the camel's back where he's like, I don't even want to hear it anymore. At this point, you think he'd be used to it. So I think he may know something that we don't.
Interesting. You may be right, Frog Boy. I can't deny it. But all of a sudden,
Why would they do that?
Tyler Herro, Instagram, shut down for the time being. Do with it what you will.
I don't know. I think the only time something like that would happen is one, if it's what you said, or two, he's privy to some type of trade.
But the
that's in the
Insta
works.
and the Finsta.
And the
Finsta. Both accounts. He didn't want to hear nothing from nobody. All right. It's out there.
It's out there.
We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. Got the mixed bag coming. Is your double dip ready? Have you fixed that as well? You said you had a parade double dip ready to roll.
And I've provided visuals.
Okay.
So,
all righty. We'll get to that as well. More to come here on Tobin and Leroy. Back after this. Each autographs in Wellington this Saturday, and on Thursday, we're giving away a ticket for you to have a meet and greet and an autograph with the badass champ himself. Just keep listening to our show for details on how you can win. Palm Beach Autographs is located at the mall at Wellington Green in Wellington. We're on burgundy to the end of that one a little bit, but it's all right. The Florida Panthers had their celebration yesterday. In the midst of that, literally as the Panthers were rolling down, we had a great time yesterday. LuLu's Bait Shack. Shout out to them for hosting us, taking care of us. Shout out to Gulfstream Park for sponsoring our parade coverage, and shout out to Hockman. Hockman just like parachuting in at the last. He shows up. He goes, "You guys mind if I'm on there?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So Hockman out there with myself and Solana doing some parade coverage, and literally as the cats start rolling down, we get the Shams bomb that that Kevin Durant ends up on the rock. They thought I was messing with them. I'm not. Like, they thought I was punking them at the time. Like you heard us when we were talking about it.
Yeah, I did.
Did you think I was punking you at the time?
I did, because you had called this. You had called that, like, at the height of anything Panthers related, the Miami Heat would decide this is when we're going to pull the trigger, but
or not pull the trigger,
or not.
Well, it was reported before the parade started by Gambo, John Gambadoro, and the afternoon host in Phoenix. He said it was happening today or tomorrow. I guess the question was just like, hey, were they going to do it on the day of the finals? Which I don't know why they couldn't wait a day, but it doesn't matter. I mean, the damage is done.
Because nowadays you release the stuff as soon as possible simply because it'll get leaked.
And I think Kevin Durant was doing like media because he was at that Fanatics Fest.
Yep.
Yeah.
So who the hell didn't they get, by the way? This Fanatics Fest.
Yeah.
How much room did they have?
So they do it in a convention center.
I saw that Tyreek Hill, he referred to he called the Bills B words because of all the cover 4 they do. Sure that'll go over well.
You know what? And I'm gonna say this with zero respect for anybody. If you complain about your success and it's because of a defense that another team is playing, then you ain't the best player in the NFL. You ain't number one. If you can be shut down because a team lines up a certain way, and I'll give you a perfect example. How many times did you see Randy Moss double covered and they throw it up and Randy go get it?
He's down there somewhere. Yeah,
they played one time against the Dolphins.
Yep.
And he ran by 3 guys and went and got the football. So did it matter what coverage they were in? No. So if you're a football player and you're complaining about your success having to do with what defense the other team is playing, that's garbage. Garbage. So they can line up and defeat you. You ain't even got to compete. Think about that. If after a Buffalo game, if Tyreek would have said in the post game, well, they played that cover for him. We had nothing for him.
What was that?
Tyreek Hill is a gamer, right? He plays these games online. You ever lose to someone who's just smashing the same button? And it's like, well, if you want to shut them up, just beat them, find a way to get around it. But usually the first complaint is you're just doing the same move over.
My son
and
does that
over.
when I kick his ass in Smash Bros.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you're just spamming the move. And I'm like, well, it's working.
Well, block it then.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say. You know what? It's I'll give you another example of the same damn thing. The tush push. Like you complaining about something you can't stop, so you say it's a problem. Like, you're supposed to have an offensive guru as a coach. You're supposed to have all these weapons throughout the field, and you're complaining about a coverage on defense?
There was another
man.
There was another quote this weekend that was from Kendall Lamm, the veteran lineman. He was with the Dolphins for a couple of seasons, would fill in a lot when Teron Armstead got hurt. And just like more of these stories about how just it's like the culture of the Dolphins just sucks. And he's like, well, you get here and you can kind of see why. I'll get the exact quote here. This was to ESPN. He said, quote, I understand why the Eagles reached 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Players are never late, never toxic. And after practice, the room spends 15 minutes sharing personal struggles to stay mentally sharp. Something I never got with the Dolphins.
Man.
Here's what I would say.
That's so
and I'm going to say this, that a lot of times in sports, we play the result. And he can say that about the Eagles now. But in the beginning of that season, they wanted to fire their coach. So
I mean, there was toxicity over there in the middle of the year. There was a lot of talk that him and AJ Brown did not get along.
Right. And here's what I would say. That when you're not having the success you want, there's a lot of that. It comes across as people being malcontents, or the fact of the matter is people just want to win. They want to do everything they can to win. And you don't see that part of it. You only see the complaining part of it.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm not willing to go there either.
That's fine, but it's also not like the first story we've heard of this. Like, how many of these do we gotta hear? Like, once people get out of here, how many of them? 10?
Right. No, I got you. I understand. But I would say this is that part of that on time stuff and that paying attention to details and that nobody's ever this or that. Would you believe that has nothing to do with the coaches? You understand what I'm saying?
What are you saying? You mean
I
like
was
the
late
players
when I first got to
themselves?
Minnesota. When I first got to Minnesota, I was late a couple of times. Not for any other careless reason other than my truck was under 5 feet of snow.
Sure.
Right? And Chris Carter pulled me aside. He said, hey, man, if you wasn't playing good football, Denny would cut your ass. So you need to get, and I was never late again. Right? That didn't come from Denny. That didn't come from my coach. That came from another player who put me in check and let me know what the deal was in Minnesota. Right? And so from that standpoint, while we sitting here talking about the locker room and the organization and all that, you know, the locker room is for players. I never had a coach come into the locker room. So if you complaining about the locker room, it's on the group of men that's in that locker room. It ain't on the coach.
Yeah, but if it doesn't work, right? Like when does it get up to the coach? Like if they don't feel like they have the respect of the guy who's actually running the show, like it has to matter somewhat. Because if you said you had that respect of Denny, that you didn't want to disappoint him,
right,
that there was that carryover. If Calais Campbell, let's just throw a name out, said that to Cam Smith, you know, just as an example, whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying. And he's just like, all right. And he says, okay. But then he really thinks to himself, what's going to happen? Like nothing. Nobody ever gets, Jalen Ramsey never gets in trouble. Why would I get in trouble?
But again, here's the other thing. You don't have to be vocal to be a leader. I've played on teams all the time where they had guys who weren't very vocal, but the way they did things and the professionalism in which they did things made people want to follow and emulate them. Okay? So there's different ways to do it. Everybody thinks of a leader as a mouthpiece, as a guy who says something or calls people out. And I would say there's a lot of different versions of what a leader is. But here's what a leader isn't. You can't be a leader and be the guy coming in late, because you then can't turn around and demand anything of your other players. That's why they always say quarterback's a leader, because he has to be the guy that's in the longest, preparing the most, being on time the most, and he has to do those things. So that's why a lot of times your quarterback is the leader. He's putting in more work than anybody.
I got distracted when you were talking because Marcos just like went off camera and then just started stretching like off on the other side of the. Are you okay? Like what just happened there?
I really have not had a lot of water since
Like
yesterday.
what's wrong? Like you just
Cramped
like
up? You cramped up, dog?
he just was like, yeah.
Hey, LuLu. Hey, the LuLu's got you cramping?
Like, I literally felt my leg cramping just sitting down listening to the radio.
I see him like leave the screen and then just goes over to the window and he starts like doing side bends and he's like,
Wow, dude, can't even stretch off camera
like,
anymore.
are you okay? I was just worried about you.
Damn, LuLu
Just left us. Like just I was like, is he okay?
Oh, good.
We'll take a break. We'll mix things up on the other side. right. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. 560 WQAM. Oh, hello, Jennifer.
Hello. How you doing?
Hello, Jennifer.
I had a really good weekend, actually. Obviously, besides Florida Panthers Parade, I was watching it on TV, so I couldn't really make it. But then on Saturday, I went to see Avril Lavigne, and I got a lot of things done this weekend. So I'm really content with how it went.
Very good.
Wow.
Gabby from 1027 The Beach showed the line for just the pit for Avril Lavigne.
What do you mean?
Just like
just to get into the pit?
Yeah, just to
get in. Yeah.
And usually it wraps around to like just past the sports book. Apparently, from what she was doing, this one went like all the way back to Dare nightclub. Like,
so this is the Hard Rock.
Yeah, Avril Lavigne apparently still the queen of whatever music she makes.
She did amazing. So
emo pop,
still got it.
So, yep.
That's like your number one, right?
I grew up listening to her. Like I was very young. And
if you had a choice between Avril Lavigne and Taylor Swift, Avril Lavigne would be first, simply because you rode with her longer.
In what sense? Like if I had to pick between two concerts?
Yeah.
If you were on an island and you only got to have one artist for the rest of your life.
You still pick Taylor?
Man, I don't know. I
No,
don't like that.
dude, you've been with Avril Lavigne since you were like a kid.
I was definitely a kid, and I would be watching MTV, just waiting for her music videos to come on. So
Tay-Tay ain't coming out with black nails.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because that's what Avril Lavigne is.
He makes points.
You and Avril Lavigne gonna have the same outfits. You and Taylor ain't dressing alike.
I made a jersey and everything just for her.
Wow,
it's true.
See? Will you make a jersey for Tay-Tay? No, you just go to the concert.
I just wear black when I go to see her.
Yeah, but that's not even her thing, though.
Yeah, it is. Reputation.
Who, Taylor?
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
that was
reputation
Avril
now
Lavigne's
is
thing.
reputation now is mailing it in.
Hey, don't get her started.
What?
Remember, she was very angry last week.
Please don't.
Yeah. Who mailed it in more? I'm gonna go with Adele or Dua Lipa.
Wait, sorry, what? What was your question?
Disrespect.
Most recent album.
Yeah.
Who mailed it in the most?
I don't
Dua
even know.
Lipa or Adele?
Was
What was the
Houdini in
last
the last
Adele
album?
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Houdini was in the last one, then Dua Lipa wins because that's a great song.
Yeah, and also
It is a great song.
Okay.
a song that was
Because I know her first album, along
She's
with all the
touring right
collab,
now.
with all the collabs that she's done, like you can listen to any song. All
By
of
the
them
way,
were bang, right?
Frog Boy, I saw your guy Drake was did he went on stage with Morgan Wallen? Trying to find a new fan base, huh?
Trying to pull the old Post Malone.
He is.
Let's get to the mix bag.
Boom. Boom, 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 boom.
What do you got for us today, Froggy?
All righty then. Let us start with, unfortunately, the second biggest story going on in South Florida sports right now, and that is Miami Heat whiffing on Kevin Durant.
Wow.
Did they whiff?
Whiffed.
I think they didn't.
So
they didn't-
can we say this? That maybe they assessed what they felt KD was worth and weren't willing to go past that point.
Well, you when you're the Godfather, what are you supposed to make, Marcos? When you're the Godfather,
Oh my god!
but instead, our Godfather, all he
I didn't
makes
even
now
know what
off.
he said.
It's got to the point where he doesn't even talk anymore. He
Yeah.
just
Just mumbles. What are you saying?
I said so.
Our Godfather offers are now. Here's an offer. There's no shot you'll ever accept.
Here's an offer you probably don't like. It's a little bit.
I
more
barely think if you want Kevin Durant, you should mention the word Terry Rozier.
That's true. Yeah, we're gonna give you first round draft pick, Jaime and Andrew Wiggins. What was that name?
Even like I understand wanting to fleece a rookie GM, but he's like You offer me the guy who got investigated this year? Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you hear that? Sorry.
You know what's crazy? In the next 3 years, Oklahoma City has 7 first-round picks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look, and they just won the championship.
They're in a good spot.
That's never been the Heat's thing. The Heat have always went and got stars and kind of did it for 2 or 3 year stretches and then reboot. So they're in a place where they've done something different, is that they're doing the youth thing, right? Like, this is not like them. Normally they would take a big swing.
But they at least they still had 2 years where they were real stinkers too, on top of taking everybody's bad contracts to get assets. And I think the thing with the Heat is, like, I don't even think the Heat have the stones to do that, because that would mean you would probably have to go into a year with like, hey, what do we get for Tyler? What do we get for Bam? What would it mean to really go in the toilet for a couple of years? And I just don't think the Heat have that in them either.
They don't have it in them. But think about this though. Like, all right, you got expiring contracts. You got guys that you may have to re-up.
Yep.
But if you trade those guys, you lose that money. So there's a lot of stuff going on with the decisions that they make. I don't necessarily know why, right? But I understand. Like, yeah, you were thinking, like 2 years ago, they were probably thinking, yeah, in 2 years, this money's going to free up. This money's going to free up. We're going to have our own picks, blah, 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 right? This is maybe now things have changed because the team didn't play the way you thought it would. And now you're in a different spot. How much do you deviate from your set plan to build a team for the next 2 or 3 years?
It doesn't feel like they have a plan. Like, that's the thing. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm an idiot, but it just doesn't feel. It feels like right now their plan is right. And maybe by default in the East next year, they'll make 6th, even with what they have.
Right.
Maybe. But
it's not, they're not contending.
Doesn't feel like it.
So I would say with Boston, with Indiana, right? But here's the deal. You still in the East got to deal with Cleveland, who's going to be healthier than they were in this playoffs, I promise you.
Yeah, and then that team just waxed you.
Right.
And they weren't even healthy when they waxed you. You got Ty Jeromed. What do you got? So, Frogboy, what do you have for us? I apologize.
Kevin Durant, as we mentioned, was at Fanatics Fest as the news broke, revealing his trade destination. This is him on whether or not he had a hand.
When people could just hang your career in the balance like that and just choose what they want to do with your career is a nerve-wracking feeling, but being able to kind of dictate what you want to do and then being with a team that values you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Kevin, people are going to hold on to that dictate what you want to do. Did you have a hand in this?
Most definitely. How much of it? I mean, they asked me where I wanted to go. Some of my destinations, I gave them to them, and here we are.
Great.
Even, as grumpy and as cranky of an old man as he is, he's still I think he handled that well, right?
It's nice to see somebody value me more than just Jaime Jaquez and Terry Rozier,
Wait, is that now? There's 2 things that are just a huge boost to the ego. One is that maximum extension, but the other is the amount of assets that get traded for you.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about who was it that got traded? Bane. Right? Wherever Bane ends up, he feeling good about himself right now.
Would think so.
Right.
Would think so. What else you got in the mixed bag, Marcos?
Well, we are fresh off of celebrating a back-to-back championship from the Panthers. But another championship was crowned yesterday. Ooh. And no, I'm not talking about the NBA Finals.
Oh, yeah?
I'm talking about the King Intangible.
Wow.
Alex Caruso.
He does keep the throne.
Now, not only yesterday did he win a championship with the Thunder, this makes number 2 for the King.
It's been unpredictable. There's been a lot of ups and downs. I've found success, failures, all that stuff on the way. I've had people that supported me, my mom and dad, my sisters, my brother-in-law, my fiance, her family. different paths in the road, everyone supported me and just kept me focused. And then, the Thunder, obviously, Sam and Clay, they had the belief to bring me here and be a part of something special. And special is what we were.
There you go.
Did he thank his brother-in-law before his fiance? I think I heard that. Or my mother, father, brother-in-law, fiance, her family.
Maybe his fiance doesn't really like basketball that much, and the brother's just a bigger fan.
Brother-in-law is like, you're dating Caruso?
Intangibles?
Are you kidding me?
He's 20. What is he? 27, 28?
Nah, hairline's 38. Though.
And he got right. That's what I'm saying.
He's 31.
Dude, he's 31. And why does he have that Harlem Globetrotters bandana on? Like, he say he needs something to break it up. So he just put a bandana on it. He ain't sweating in his eyes.
Oof. What else you got in the mixed bag, Marcos?
Continuing on in the mixed bag, we have one of the losers from yesterday's contest between the Pacers and the Thunder quoting a very familiar quote. Tell me if this hurts you as much as it hurts.
It's just, like a couple years ago, I think, basketball was just, it was kind of dark for me, and it was just not fun at all. And I got traded here, and these guys, they just gave me a boost, and I started with Ty obviously, but just playing with these guys has been so incredible. Just found my joy for the game, and just playing so much swagger and happiness, and that's just all I want to do as a player, man. And I lost that for a while, and it's just so incredible that I came to a team like these guys.
Was that Pascal Siakam?
That was Pascal Siakam talking about finding his joy in Indiana.
It's going to be a thing now, huh? It's going to be like taking your talent somewhere, finding my joy is going to be the new thing.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
I was a trademark at this point.
Like, in all those other instances, at no point in time did anybody else who said that never didn't play, right? I think that annoys me more than anything about Jimmy. Jimmy could say I'm not happy, and he could be justified in all that. But to not go out and play or purposely tank the situation, that's what I have a problem with.
What else you got in the mixed bag, Marcos? If anything.
Yes, I got one more here from Fanatics Fest as well. A lot of people in the room, a lot of big stories popping. This one is a football story, football rivalry, good old rivalry here between Bears and the Packers. One as old as the tale of time. Don't tell that to Aaron Rodgers, though. Apparently he owns the Bears. But Caleb Williams has a comment for Packers fans that didn't necessarily go over well with the Cheesehead.
Green Bay, I mean, they suck, but it was after the game, after we won at Lambeau, at Lambeau right now. So obviously trying to do the Lambeau leap, and we actually tried to jump in the crowd where our fans were, and they start throwing everything at you, they push you off, and the Lambeau leap, it's a real leap. It's not a little baby jump. You actually have to high jump basically, and then they're pushing you, mushing your face. I mean, that was probably that. And then I have one today. I was actually in a car, and I got ran down for 6 blocks in the car. So, yeah, that was fun.
Caleb Williams there at Fanatics Fest, discussing Packers fans and how they push them from Lambeau leaps and how
it's intense.
Well, they got nothing else over there.
I can't. Well, and just imagine the funny thing about it is, it's just football there. It goes house, stadium, bar, right? That's the setup where the stadium is. So you drive like through regular streets. There's no highway leading to it. It's just like, it's crazy. So those people are liquored up and ready. So that's why when you hear stuff like that, it makes the Randy Moss situation seem so much funnier, doesn't it?
That's disgusting. We'll take a break. Final hour of the show coming on up here on a Monday. We're back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you, 560 WQAM. Get to your headlines here, brought to you by Doral Hyundai. Doral Hyundai, choose from over 1,300 new Hyundai miles of inventory at the Tucson, Sonata, and Palisade. Remember, when it comes to Hyundai, the great deals are at Doral Hyundai. The Oklahoma City Thunder are your NBA champions. They win in Game 7 yesterday. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was your finals MVP. And Tyrese Haliburton lost to a non-contact injury believed to be a torn Achilles. Absolutely brutal.
Yep.
Marlins salvaged their series finale against the Braves. They won 5-3. Sandman got the win, so good for him. Kyle Stowers went deep for the first time in forever. Inter Miami returns to action tonight in Club World Cup play against Palmeiras. Is that how I say that?
Oh my God. Let it go.
Oh, I can already feel the text messages coming in.
Is it going to be Solana like in 2 seconds?
It's correctly pronounced.
Palmeiras. Is that how I say it? Because it's Brazilian, right?
That's going to be
Brazilian with the R's, H's. I was trying to go into a fight with.
Palmeiras. That's going to be.
But is that R and H? Palmeiras?
I have no.
Pardon me. I can't even. I don't even want to try to say that.
Whatever we say is gonna be wrong, and it's gonna bother them more.
You can do
9 o'clock tonight is when that gets going.
You can do like I do.
Well, like Shogun, he spells his last name R-U-A, but it's Hua. Hua. That's Shogun Hua. So like, I just want him. Whatever. You know what?
See, but here's the thing.
They're not gonna be happy no matter what.
Your fight game information is so much better on the state. Like, you can go to internationality. He ain't messing up a fight name.
Yeah. Well, look, even in this sense, he tried to adapt the fight stuff to the score. Like, is it the same? Is the R the same?
Doesn't matter. Just go Pinks.
Go Pinks.
Go Pinks.
We're still in that tourney, huh? The one you did.
Palmeiras.
Palmeiras? Wow, that sucks. Doesn't sound foreign at all.
I don't know.
But do you know that, or are you guessing?
Hey,
I went on Google and checked.
It's okay, because if a Latino says it, then that means we're off the.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll take the blame.
Yeah.
Blame it on me.
Yeah. Get it together, Figgy.
Because I mean, I would like to say Marcos, but you about as Latino
Marcos
as me.
is.
If I try to pronounce that in Spanish, I'm gonna say a curse word. Palami.
But again, you about as Latin as me.
Okay, but it's not. And this is also not Latin. It would be Portuguese. That's why I think it's different.
Okay.
Miércoles. That's Wednesday.
that's Spanish.
Biblioteca.
-1.
Tough crowd.
-1.
I kind of wish you said that meant Tuesday.
While we're taking things on the chin, by the way, that Kendall Lamm quote I read may have been fake.
Whoa! Hold on, dude. Hold on.
I apologize.
Dude.
Wait.
How many times on this show has he said these words?
No way he just did that.
Hey, man, I think you got
I think I got
by the internet.
You want to know why I think I got?
Why is that?
Who the hell would fake a Kendall Lamm quote?
Who would
do that?
How could you do that?
Who would do that?
Wait. So let me ask you a question.
I think it may be fake.
What outlet did you hear it from?
I saw it on, to be truthful, I saw it on the Twitter account Fins Extra, who usually does a good job of getting stuff. And they just said ESPN. I was like, all right, checks. But I was like, I'm like looking for the source. No, hold on. I know you're going to read the comment. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Because you can't take Twitter's, I'm looking for the source. I can't find the original article where it's from. I went on ESPN. I went on the Eagles page. I don't see it.
Nah, you got off.
I'm just saying, I think it may be fake. I don't know that it's fake, but I think I may have gotten got. If I didn't, look, it's a very believable quote.
Yeah.
It's also from the most random player known to man. So I'm just saying it may be fake.
It may be fake, but it's fake enough for Sports Illustrated to write about it.
Yeah, but again, Sports Illustrated gets got by they have AI people writing their articles. So I just want to know.
What about Yahoo Sports?
Nope.
Same thing?
See, you're doing this. Can I just
Same
tell you? Look,
yeah.
I am not blaming you because obviously I am at fault here.
Who's credible then?
But what I'm
Who do I
telling,
Trust.
You got it. Well, if it's from ESPN, how about ESPN? Could you find it on ESPN?
It doesn't exist.
That's the problem. I just want to say I apologize.
And why were they interviewing Kendall Lamm?
That's what got me, though. That's because I was like,
Wait,
that's why I thought I was like, that checks.
Wow. Well, did you guys hear what Greg Camarillo said the other day?
What did he say?
See how believable that was? He said nothing.
Oh,
But
wow.
he see if he just throw it.
I just
How did you not see that coming?
for the sake of transparency, just be like,
He pulled out rando name. That was the funny part. So I was like, "Ooh, what did he say?"
It's like,
I
who
did
would
learn my
lie?
Tobin gets got again.
Oh,
Oh,
hey,
man.
so apologize to me because you always get on me for getting got. All the old like to get got. Your ass gets got too.
I'm not going to apologize to you because you almost got roped back in by RMS on our Twitch chat by saying, no, he says it's real. So I'm not going to apologize to you. I've apologized to everybody. Unless it ends up being real, in which case I apologize to absolutely nobody.
Double
The
champ.
double champ does what he wants.
Okay, Sam.
I'm also like not like the Dolphins were like so in my peripherals this week. I was like, oh yeah, like I'm thinking Kevin Durant, I'm thinking Parade, John Jones retired.
Oh, your boy.
He retired before though.
Yeah.
He put out a statement.
So
Something about not leaving his house for less than $100.
Was it a real statement?
It was from his Twitter account, so I can verify.
well,
That.
the problem with that also is sometimes they got to retire so they don't get tested.
That's true, but I just don't think he wants to fight. He said last week, he's like, I just don't want to fight.
You know what's amazing about him? Even with all the money that he's made and all the big time fights he's been a part of, he really doesn't show the interest of all the other fighters, right? Like he's like, nah, I'll fight. What?
Jukebox says it's on a piece on Yahoo Sports following the Finn's extra post. I'm pretty sure Yahoo wouldn't pick it up if it wasn't real. See, that's the thing though, Jukebox. You think they wouldn't, but these websites all copy AI. So like, here's the thing. Try and find it on ESPN, which I just tried to do, and I couldn't. So I just want to say,
because nobody at ESPN cares about Kendall Lamm.
Yeah, which is why I want to say I think I got got. I apologize. I take it on the chin, and also, I'm sorry. But also,
so I've been scrolling through. I've been scrolling through the comments all day, and I want to kick the tires on this.
Okay.
Do you think Tyler Herro was put in a bad spot because his role had to change so much with the whole Jimmy situation that people are kind of discrediting what he can be and what he can do? And how tough was the transition from being sidekick to Batman, which is what they went into every game expecting him to have to score. And he did decent.
I think there's some of that you could paint on him. I think it's also not something he didn't want. I think he wants to be the focal point of the team and the offense and all that type of stuff. And it's not like the first time Tyler Herro's ever led the Heat in shot attempts. He did that his 6th man of the year. So I'll fine. But man, this guy gets he gets a lot of benefit of the doubt on that stuff. Then I think that from my perspective, one of the things I find interesting about this Kevin Durant thing is like, all right, well, what does the organization think about him as their lead guy? I get it. Everybody at the Cavs threw the kitchen sink at him, and he wasn't able to do anything with it. He was.
Well, that's because there's no other options. Like what happens when, and they tried to do this with SGA, right? But Jay will just all of a sudden just lit him up.
Right.
So if you don't have that other person that can take some of that pressure off of you, I'm assuming that anybody can get shut down.
Yeah, but that kind of goes to why I'm wondering, like, if you believe that, if you do believe that the guy was in over his head, why wouldn't you push the chips a little bit more to get him a true relief valve than Kevin Durant?
I don't think he was in over his head. I just think, like,
or overwhelmed or whatever.
Not
or
even,
outmatched,
not, bro,
whatever.
I'm just saying this. When you don't have any other options, any other reliable, dependable scores on your team, and the team locks down your primary scorer, right? Unless somebody else steps up, this is how it's going to look. And for so many games, nobody else really stepped up. So now everybody's talking about them shutting Tyler Herro down. When you look at all the other teams, when they shut down their star, they had other options. What were the Heat's other reliable options? So
yeah,
I'm
nobody
not
stepped
saying,
up for that. I get that.
Right.
But I guess that goes back to my thinking with the Heat and why I'm a little frustrated with where they're just at in general is, okay, if that is the case and you feel like Tyler Herro is talented and you think that he is an all-star, which he proved himself to be this year.
Yep.
Why don't you go and get him some actual second option, which is the same, literally the same frustration every Heat fan had a year prior with Jimmy, which is, hey, he very clearly needs a wingman here to help him with some offensive spark because Bam is going to be there and he's going to fill in his 15-10, do all the amazing things on defense. There'll be games and matchups like there have been in the Bucks series or the Celtics series where he can carve you up. But we know because so much is asked of him defensively, he's not going to always be that guy that they're going to go to and say, hey, Bam, go get the buckets for us.
Right.
So that's been the frustration, is the same things we were saying about Jimmy a couple years back. Now Tyler's in that seat, and their thought process is, we'll give up Jaquez and Terry and Wiggins. And it's like, man, are you guys ever going to really make a push to get actual real help? And it always just feels like they're too scared to jump off the ledge to give these guys that move because they always feel like there's a discount move, Leroy, that's going to be kind of as good. We'll get Victor Oladipo on our terms. We'll get Terry Rozier. He'll be like Damian Lillard.
Right.
So
I got you.
I just think from my standpoint, I'll hear out that Tyler Herro is in a bad spot this year. How about you help him out and put him in a better spot? Nah, we're not going to do that.
So, and the other thing I have is I always felt that they were reluctant to put more players behind Jimmy or around Jimmy because Jimmy would then do less. Right? It never seemed like a situation where he was, clamoring for help. He wanted his money. And if you would have got him more players around him without getting his money, it would have been the same situation.
I think that's a convenient thing to say now.
No,
I
again,
think it's a convenient thing to say now. I get it. I don't like the way that Jimmy handled the end of it, but let's talk about Jimmy off the Denver run and, the mishandling of everything. I get it. Joe Cronin was a rat bastard, but even the Heat went about that summer with arrogance where they could have done
they could have just
more.
did whatever they had to do to get that,
right?
Have
and
that little push for a couple of years.
And that's the frustrating thing. That's the thing that I think people are getting tired of.
Yeah, I get it.
This was John Gambadoro's tweet on Barry Jackson's story, and he was on the Phoenix side of a lot of the reporting. He said, yes, basically the Miami offer was junk. Nowhere, no Jovic, only one draft pick, and the players they nor the Suns wanted. Garbage. Miami was never really serious. They just pretend to be to appease their fan base.
I could see that, but you have to know that people like us and the fans are smart enough to know the validity of that deal. Right?
I don't know.
So does that not backfire on them if they're just trying to appease the fans?
I think, eventually I think the fans get tired of it for sure. And I think you're not going to be able to spin the we like our team, we like this, all that type of stuff. Not, that whole
not after last year.
You can do that after the finals. You can't do that after back-to-back back-to-back years where you win one playoff game over two playoff series. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do it.
So my other question is The whole problem is now there's really no players available except the guys that you kind of have to convince yourself to want. And so with that, do you think the Heat, seeing the way this went, are going to be more receptive to, say, a different player or another player?
How could you? Because it's like, look, Kevin Durant's old, but he's about as stable an offensive force as it gets. So, like, as far as like the least amount of warts, like if a John Morant became available, if a Zion became available, they're going to go into those thinking, oh, let's throw them the most dog bleep offer we can, and hopefully they say yes. And
I
it's
would
like
take Zion over Ja.
Sure, but like it doesn't matter. Whoever it is, they're gonna justify themselves. Like, we're gonna do it on our terms. We're gonna do it. And it's like
your terms aren't getting it done.
Your terms are not getting it done. They're never getting it done. And then so like it's even a joke to think like, oh, what if Giannis actually became available? What if Luka actually didn't sign his extension? Do you actually trust them to get it done? How could you?
Right.
How could you?
When you see the landscape of the NBA, if a team really wants a player, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get him. I don't know, and I would say this. I don't know or understand. I'm trying to figure out, let me put it that way, how committed that the Heat have been to these players who everybody else says had interest in Miami, right? What if the Heat weren't that into it? We forget that aspect of it. That they maybe said, he's on a different path than where we are.
Well, I mean, there could be leaks though. Like, see, that's the thing when it comes back to what Gamadora is tweeting and saying, well, they're just doing it to appease their fan base. Like, if they're doing it to that and to see basically like, can I get a deal that's really, really bargainy to get this done? Because the Spurs, they came out, threw cold water on it. They basically said we're not, like, it was out there in the ether that the Spurs didn't want. The Heat did this back with Harden when Harden was like getting moved, and they said, we're not going after James Harden anymore. Like, they leaked it out there that it wasn't out there. So no, I think that they were just hopeful that, oh man, this is actually going to get it done because these idiots can't get anything better. It's like, yeah, but even like the lowest Houston offer is better than your lowest offer. Like, you got to sweeten the pot somewhat.
Well, here's the problem. The Heat, and I say this, the three teams that were vying for KD's services, they probably had a trade proposal early on, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns took those 3 trade or 4 trade proposals and decided who to continue to work with based on that. There was not a whole lot of back and forth. And so the Heat have to understand that if they put that BS trade out there, that the team's going to say, no, thank you. We won't even negotiate with you. We won't even talk to you. And I think that's what gets lost. This has happened a number of times.
And the thing is, like, wherever they go, like, let's just say they run it back and they bring back the team that they have, including re-signing Davion Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well then, if you're going to hold on to these guys in Nikola Jovic, who's coming into the final year of his deal, extension eligible, and Kalel, who had a very exciting rookie season. I understand why you don't want to part with these guys, but then can we start putting these guys in the best position to succeed?
Right.
And not act like there's a reluctance to get to until, because both those guys basically didn't get to play until there was injuries and no options. That's basically what happened. Like, their coach had to get backed into a corner to want to play it. So can we make it seem like we're actually going to get these guys in positions to succeed, let them play through their warts, and they're going to be actual development and not like our coach is being forced to eat his vegetables playing them. So I don't know. I just think that it needs to be more of a through line, that the organization that prides itself on continuity and everybody having the same thing, it just feels like they're all scattered. The only thing I trust is, like, look, whatever happens on Wednesday with the draft, man, I know Adam Simon's got it locked down. That dude's got an eye for talent because he's done a very good job at drafting.
Yes, absolutely.
I know that. But then it's like, all right, how are they going to harbor all of that and get the best out of those guys And like, we're just like, what's the path right now? Because it just feels so middling. Like they really do feel basically like the Chicago Bulls right now. Like there's no different other than they beat the Chicago Bulls in the play-in. Like this is where they're at. They're just kind of like just floating around. Hey, you guys remember Jordan 6 rings? Yeah. Take a break. Back with more for this. All right, welcome back, everybody. AJ Greer of your two-time Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers will be at Palm Beach Autographs in Wellington this Saturday, and this week on Thursday, we're going to give away a ticket for you to have a meet and greet and an autograph with him. Just keep listening to our show for details on how you could win. Palm Beach Autographs is located at the mall at Wellington Green in Wellington. Frog Boy, you had yourself a time at the parade yesterday. You indulged in fish bowls.
What? He said he had a half a fish bowl. Isn't that like a shareable?
It is 2 to 3 people.
2 to 3 people.
Oh,
That you tried to.
What's in a fishbowl?
Whatever you want.
Whatever your
whatever your heart desires.
Really? Like you can pick
It's like,
whatever.
It's like a jungle juice type situation.
They got all kinds of mixes there at LuLu's.
Mine looked like that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what his looked like.
So
it was,
wait,
Did the shark have a shot?
Oh, you were carrying that around?
Let's not get bogged down on what is in or not in a fishbowl. We got to get to Marcos's double dip.
Excuse me? You double dipped the chip. Double dipped? What are you talking about? You dipped the chip. You took a bite. And you dipped again.
Marcos would have finished the fishbowl if it was filled with chicken nuggets.
McNuggets? McNugget bowl?
What do you got in the double dip, Marcos, here today?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I am positive my Marconi is in the mail.
Oh, my God.
Yesterday, some people have said Marcos carried the parade. My favorite part was Marcos. I'm almost positive people made
Wow. You know what? I feel like I did hear that.
People have said that. People have said that for sure. So now I'm going to count down the top 5 best moments from the parade that also included Frog Boy. Now, because unfortunately there was a lot of cell phones in the area. When we were live broadcasting, the footage that I was attempting to put out there came out a little bit blurry. So what I was able to do was prepare for you guys a bit of a montage, if you will, of all the sights that I was able to see right there on the railing. So I'm going to play that while I give you guys the top 5 double dip. I'm going to leave that muted, though, in case there's any extracurricular things I may have been saying.
A lot of bad language.
But this is the Sights and Sounds. If you have an opportunity to turn into our Twitch, Miami 560 WQAM on YouTube and Twitch. Let's get started with number 5, shall we? As I began the parade, of course, there was, as any parade, a lot of first responders in the beginning, in which, of course, you always got to show love to your first responders, but leave it to Frog Boy, of course, to somehow make a joke about the first responders being the first people in the parade. I do this sometimes whenever I'm at the comedy club. It's what we like to call a cheat
bus here. I'm still trying to make out if there's any players. I don't think so as of yet. But as you guys are mentioning, we got a lot of police and first responders who are beginning this thing. And, that's always like a cheap pop, Anytime I'm at the comedy club and I'm bailing,
it is a cheap pop.
I always say, we'll get one time for our troops. And that always works. But one time for our reigning champs. I believe the buses are getting towards us now.
Wow.
Always a cheap pop.
Always a cheap pop.
One time for our troops.
There's
first responders. Rat King came up. He was signing autographs there. It was very, very, it really felt like you were one with the team there.
I would say they are an enjoyable group of guys. We've never had a conversation with any one of them, whether it was a new guy, a past guy, even the guy they traded for Duclair.
This man just getting a beer from Jesper Boquist.
Very humble.
Wait,
guys.
That's how he's walking down the
I'll tell you, they
There's a lot of shirtless Panthers. A lot of
The
shirtless
more
Panthers.
that Leroy sees footage, the more I question if he even saw the parade.
He watched the parade.
Well, he did
No,
think that he
the
started at
television
this
coverage
That's
isn't this.
crazy. I was watching
Yeah.
the television coverage.
This is look at this out of the Stanley Cup here, just kind of pouring
good.
it out. Come on.
Now everybody, all those people could say, I drank out of the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Coming in at number 4 was something that you may have thought that I wrote the night before because of how good it was. But this was a line delivered by me. What'd you listen
We
to?
have also during our broadcast today, as we got Tobin, Solana, and Hockman here with you from LuLu's Bait Shack. We got our boy Frog Boy, boots on the ground right now as he is live from the streets. As we got him out there roving around, talking to Panthers fans, seeing who's out there. Frog Boy, how are you?
Excellent, bro. I'm surrounded by Panthers fans. How can I not be excellent right now, gentlemen? As you can see, it is much different than last year. Not a drop of rain. The only thing raining is the reigning champs.
Wow. Come on.
Are you serious? That's what we were waiting for.
That was a good line. I'll give it to him.
Come on, baby. That's the point. Come on, baby.
Wait a minute.
That is good.
Why are you out there in these streets
Yeah.
and trying to use your comedy club material out here?
Man, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But I was more than a guy with funny little jokes here and there.
Look at your boy, Evan.
I also had champagne.
What message would you send to the back-to-back champs? I'm ready for the 3P. Let's go. I think that's a testament we've had here. But look, since I have a gentleman here, would you do him the odds of popping this championship champagne, shake it up for me if possible? Give me an idea of what it takes to be one of these Florida Panthers after another championship victory. Look, shake that thing up. And for the Panthers, baby!
Get in the spray, Marcos! Do the Chris Bosh. Do the Chris Bosh.
So,
wow.
As you can see, the vibes are high here. Look, bro, that champagne's yours. You can enjoy it. You can throw it away. You can share it with whoever you like, bro.
What?
I appreciate you, and enjoy the parade.
Thank you, brother.
There you go. It's Frog Boy, boots on the ground there. I mean, honestly, who else out here? I tell you one thing, Donovan Campbell's not going to give you a free bottle of champagne. Boots on the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
Come on. I'm giving out gifts now at this point.
You had to be the only reporter out there that actually had bottles of champagne. I was like, did you have bottles of champagne? Like, and listen, that's because Donovan Campbell's a professional.
Well,
not you. You are a carnival barker.
I mean, I give the people.
There's no way. No, Donovan or Will Manso or
I know Marcos
Moser.
wasn't buying no champagne. You know why?
None of them are going to be having their own ABC liquors carrying around for like you were. I'm like, how many bottles of champagne did you bring?
Yeah, well, I gave him the good stuff, of course. I have in the studio with me some Andre, Andre is what we call it, extra.
They
dry.
don't call it. Please stop saying that.
Andre.
Oh my.
Yeah.
What else do you got in the mix? In the double dip.
Two more in the double dip here. If you thought that champagne guy was belligerent and drunk, wait till you hear this champagne guy.
I see you got the Panther hat. How excited are you that the Panthers are back-to-back?
Hey, shout out to Goldstein. Let's go home, baby, because we are back-to-back champs, baby. Yeah.
Bro, would you mind popping this bottle of champagne for me?
Hey, Buckethead.
All you got to do
Those
is just
buckets.
twist it off, baby. Shake it and twist it.
Is that how twist off works?
Let's go!
Is that
Wait. Time out.
Yes.
We have hit a glitch in this whole thing.
Well, Solana makes sense with this.
You have twist off champagne?
Yeah.
Does that pop?
Yeah. I mean, you saw it. Like if I were to
Marcos -1 to you.
Oh, you're too close to the board. Don't mess with it.
All right.
You're too close to the board.
All right.
Save it for another day.
What does that guy drink? Oh, that's some kind of dark beer, huh?
Yeah, that's like a
not
Guinness or
people.
something that he's got
Not
there.
people right there.
Give us one more here in the double dip there, Marcos.
Well, look, I'll shave this in half here, so you don't have to listen. Just take my word for it. This is the most eloquent heckler we've ever come
Just
across.
saw somebody get poured with a Carter Verhaeghe jersey next to you.
Absolutely.
Man, thank you so much for being out here. I want everybody to know that Florida owns hockey. We've always owned hockey.
Yeah.
We just waited and gave you guys an opportunity, but right now, we're the kings of hockey. Tampa Bay did it, now we did it, and we're going for the three-peat. That's just how it is. 3 in a row, baby.
That was eloquently spoken.
I know.
Let me just say,
How eloquent was that
you're
for
like
a parade?
the best heckler I've ever had in life. That was
It was really just
That guy was
really well spoken.
He was good.
Yeah, I do feel bad because I did set up the last guy though. I take full responsibility for this. I know Len probably didn't like
Guys,
this one.
I'm here live in front of the buses while we have a break here.
What do you have, buddy?
I'm going to talk to the people. I'm going to ask them the number one question everyone's thinking right now. What do you think about Kevin Durant getting traded to the Rockets? Oh, I don't give a about. Okay, listen.
Why you gotta ask? Why you gotta
That's
ask?
great. That was my fault. That was my fault. That's great.
Hey, can I just say this? You went too far.
That was my fault.
You felt a little froggy.
Yep.
He always does.
What the hell did you think was going to happen?
He took a page out of the Tobin handbook.
Yep.
That was definitely my fault.
Good job by you.
Hey, Tobes, what do you think about Kuminga, though? They don't
Don't
want
ask.
him.
We're in the double dip, Leroy.
Don't ask me about Kuminga right now.
All right.
Tuesday's Kuminga day. Take a break. Little all right on no on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. Let's play a little all right on no to close this puppy out. My all right, I'm going to go with Sam Bennett. Not only because he's the Conn Smythe winner, but he nailed his Conor McGregor impression. He seemed like this entire week, I feel like he held, other than agreeing to an 8-year extension in a nightclub, I feel like he held himself together with the booze better than anybody else. I mean, I'm sure his agent didn't love it, but we all loved it because you totally agreed. I mean, no backsies. We can bring that to the Players Association. If you chant off an elbow room, that means you're a Panther for life.
Yeah. It's in the contract.
My oh no. I mean, it goes to the Heat. What am I going to do? I have no Kevin Durant. I have no Damian Lillard. I have nothing. The only trade you've made me of consequence recently has been Terry Rozier for a first-round pick, inexplicably. You want to give the same amount of first-round picks for Terry Rozier as you did for Kevin Durant. Make that make sense. Leroy, you're all right on.
All right. My all right goes to Sophie Cunningham. She is the UD of the Indiana Fever. And if you mess with Caitlin Clark, you got to deal with her. I did a little searching. In high school, she was a field goal kicker. She played football, and she's a black belt. So she's about that. And go look at some tape. She's been taking care of her business. My oh no, and I hate to pile on, but Miami Heat, come on.
Oh no.
I mean, like, have serious conversations or don't have them at all. Right? Don't you look worse by offering what you did for KD. You might as well just say we don't want him. And I would have respected that more. That being said, and even though you're my oh no, I'm hoping that there's something on the horizon. Because you got to have some kind of backup plan. Because that ain't it.
We know
that wasn't it.
Start putting together DeMar DeRozan's number 11.
No.
Start doing it. We get it. J-Fig?
Wow.
Oh, Schmeathan. So my all right obviously goes to the team speeches. They had me cheesing and laughing the entire time. Even though I couldn't be there in person, I was front and center in my living room watching everything from the parade to the stage, by the way. And they deserve all the fun and shenanigans because they worked their butt off the entire season. So kudos to them. Also, Avril Lavigne, because you made, I want to say, middle school me very, very, very happy. And her vocals are still on point. That microphone was on all the way. And my oh no, I don't really have one for the weekend because it had such a good weekend. But aside from the obvious, the Miami Heat, I had to actively ignore my phone with all the KD news. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Froggy?
Oh no.
My all right goes to operations is what I'm going to say, because the parade was pulled off well. Tyler from our promotions department did an excellent job of organizing things for us and making sure that we were taken care of. LuLu's also gets an all right from me because they did an excellent job of hosting our broadcast. And the actual broadcast team themselves, I think, hearing Hockman, Solana, and Tobin give you play-by-play of what was going on, but still allowing themselves to have fun. And of course, it was great.
I also watched you guys, by the way. I was on my phone watching.
It went great. It was a fun time. And also shout out to Solana for catching my GoPro.
Yeah, that was cool.
And shout out to the guy who threw it up there.
For sure.
Threw a dime.
So many good vibes there. So.
The vibes were high. Also, shout out to my boy Sinbad. I saw him on the bridge, gave me a free shirt.
Oh, awesome. I cannot wait to get my hands on some merch because they're all so good.
Yeah, he was getting the fans on the way out. He was like, "Hey, I want a shirt." I was like, "Do I want a shirt?"
He probably made some good money that day.
I think he did. I think he did.
That and the people who were charging $100 to park in there.
Oh, for sure. One more. Oh no! By the way,
yeah.
Love Island, USA.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I'm almost up.
The eliminations from last night were absolute horse crap. Okay, ladies, how you eliminate Hannah, who had a very good thing going with Pepe? You eliminate Hannah.
Haters.
For one reason, I don't know. Iris.
So much for the spoiler.
No one seems to like her.
Oh.
Okay. I don't understand it, and I don't get it. But then Amaya, hey, 0 for 2. That's it. Once you're out, you're out. Hannah, she's been getting it on with Charlie and now Pepe. She's playing the game of Love Island. And for whatever,
when you say getting it on, she's getting it on.
She's getting it on.
Or was
and
that?
they eliminated Hannah for no good reason.
Wow.
Then on the guys' side, you guys eliminated Jeremiah, who's a dope, and wasn't nice what he did to Huda. Okay. First of all, Huda shouldn't stick around. But the fact that she did, she wasn't eligible for cast-off, fine. How this Austin got to stick around after nothing makes it. You lost out on Shelly to Ace, and now you don't like Amaya because she likes you too much. You know what? There's no pleasing you, Austin. It should have been Austin and Amaya. See ya. Obvious. Obvious send-off. And instead they send off Hannah, who had a great thing going with Pepe, and Jeremiah, who just got everything with Huda, but was starting to find the new girl. I think it's I forget her name.
Yeah.
Adriana, I think it is.
That's probably it.
Whatever. He had another thing going, but you guys were Team Huda the entire way. Look, do I like the way that he treated Huda? No. But it's Love Island, okay? It's not Friend Island. And I'm sick of this place being treated like Friend Island.
I feel like they were both wrong in their own ways. Both of them.
The point is, Jennifer, he didn't deserve to get kicked off more than Austin. Austin stinks. He's 0 for 2. My game is in Love Island. Once you're 0 for 2, it's time to head back to the dugout. No more, okay? If you can't find it with the 2 people that you were with, that's on you.
And you say that even though Huda has been on the verge of being eliminated several times.
But she wasn't here, so she wasn't eligible. And Jeremiah, what happened was Ace doesn't like his ass, and so Ace is the little ringleader of everybody, and he convinced him to get rid of Jeremiah. I don't know. Yeah, he's a weasel. Him and Nick. Oh my God. Look, you go out there, you're a 2-pump chump, and all of a sudden with Serena, and now you don't know if you like her that much. Oh, very convenient, Mr. Ass Clapper.
I would like to let you know that that's exactly what dating is nowadays. The moment you start catching feelings, you know what? I don't really like you, and move on to the next.
He's a piece of work, this Nick. I can't stand him. A real bum. But nobody deserved to get dumped from the island less than Hannah. Hannah's loving Island all over the place. She loves Charlie. She loves Pepe. That's how you love Island. But she doesn't dump them like a bad habit like Nick does. What a double standard we have. I'm ashamed of you ladies. I can't believe that's how you went. Should have definitely been Austin and Amaya. And you know what? Disappointed. Casa Amor. And here's the other thing. Casa Amor's coming up. You're doing a Casa Amor without Hannah? You kidding me?
She would have been all over the place.
She would have been like a rabbit all over the place. And instead, here I'm stuck with boring ass Huda and Amaya and Austin. Doesn't look at it. I don't like her. She likes me too much. Hey, make up in your mind, dude. Because Shelly, she didn't like you enough. Now Amaya likes you too much. I'm sorry, Goldilocks. You're looking for it to be just right? It's Love Island.
Welcome to the real world. They're sorry.
So sorry. Anyway, that's our show for today. We'll talk to you, rascals.
I didn't even do my own no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You know what? That's my own no, dude.
I'm sorry.
That's my own no. This guy, man.
What do you think about Kevin Durant getting traded to the Rockets? Oh, I don't give a about. Okay.
Come and find me, motherfuckers.
Midday Sports